Yeah.
It's gonna be cloudy this morning. Sorry.
Sorry, I had 2 espresso shots before I came up here. Sorry if I was looking jumpy.
I didn't mean to fly off the handle like that.
So, where's Jake?
What?
He is in Washington, D.C. His girlfriend is the queen of Washington Mardi Gras.
Oh, that's
Chuck
right.
is
In Nashville.
That's right. I
Getting
remember.
ass. He said he wasn't gonna go, and some girl was like, "I'll buy your ticket and pay for your." We got the Airbnb was already paid for, and I'm like, "All right, then." All right, then.
Chuck goes, you know what to do both days. Which days would you want, Friday or Monday? And I said, do I want to wake up at 4:30 on a Friday or a Monday? And I was like, definitely Friday.
Definitely Friday.
Like,
That's a no-brainer.
Why would I pick Monday?
No, that's a no-brainer right there.
Plus, Fridays, after the shows, we don't have to post anything for Friday, so I leave right up. So I'm like, I'm out of here at 3.
You don't have to post anything Friday?
If it's like breaking news, we
Oh,
do.
yeah.
It's kind of iffy. Like, if it's like a big guest, we do. But
Who's got Jay's show this afternoon?
Grant. He had it yesterday. I must have made it tonight.
I got Franz at 6 with the Go Rouge. So
I just got paid for LSU for December, like literally like this morning.
nice.
Did you get a new phone?
No, I got a new phone case.
Oh, okay.
I splurged. I went to Five Below.
Yeah, Grant has it.
Okay.
So I'm finally going to get. I got the domain techgumbo.net yesterday,
Okay.
so I'll put up a web page next week. Kind of thing.
Nice.
Yeah,
All right, then.
another way. Yeah.
Oh, don't think. Don't you think for 1 second that I did not do it this day in history, because I did.
Okay. Oh,
Did it
shit,
last
you're already
night?
done?
Do
All
what?
right. I see you're already done?
Yeah, I did it. I got to LSU and I was like, dude, for
That's
the
why
game.
I love working basketball so much. It's so
Oh, especially last
formulaic.
night when your team loses by 20 and they score like 50 points. I had literally had 8 highlights in the entire game. I don't know.
Yeah.
We didn't even do a play of the game.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm done with all your LED stuff.
Noise.
Completely.
I'm not gonna win.
I'm the only one done.
Really?
Well, Paul's doing a little whiskey and wine because he doesn't know about the profanity thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He's like, I don't know what to use. Do you know Danny? Is he salary?
I don't think so.
He leaves at like 11 every day. Like I haven't seen any in 3 weeks.
Now let's do a rundown of the roadways. We have an issue on I-10 westbound between about Acadian and Perkins, but the delays are starting to back up. Obviously, right here where there's all this red. I'm thinking that the delays probably back up beyond the split. I'll show you in a second.
Arkansas had 3 girls score 20 or more last night.
Yeah, there was some chick, some of the R.
Ramirez.
Yeah, that chick.
Amber Ramirez.
Okay.
5'9".
Yeah, she hit like
5 threes.
Michaela Daniels.
She was the other one.
Yep. I think it was a backcourt.
And Samara Spencer. Maybe that's Samara.
She got waxed. Reminded me of the men's team.
Bless you. Oh, I didn't grab a Red Bull this morning.
You're good. Marissa's picking up that energy for you, dude.
Bring it. Bring the heat, yo. She's wearing like a black turtleneck, so when she steps in front of that traffic screen, in front of black, she looks like a disembodied head. Step back out.
Temperatures on Sunday will be a bit warmer in the 60s with even warmer conditions coming next
Here we go.
All right, then.
WBRZ.com, our apps, social media, and WBRZ Plus.
Oh no. Am I? There it is.
I'm really quite something. Morning, coffee and contemplation.
News and newsmakers,
Coffee and contemplation.
traffic and weather.
I've been sitting here for 2.5 hours and I still don't know why.
Good morning. Great day in the morning, people. Oh, yes, I don't see you. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Start your day with Baton Rouge's hub for information and opinion.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Here is Brian Haldane.
See, Brian.Haldane at guaranteemedia.com. Password Stephen A. Lover. Log in. Oh, sorry, I'm just getting ready for 8 o'clock. What's happening, everybody? Good morning. Friday morning coming your way on Mornings with Brian Haldane. Brian here with you. Producing this morning. Taylor Sharp, do 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 do. Taylor
Yo!
Sharp, do 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 do. Taylor Sharp. What's happening, Taylor?
What is good? It's been a while, man.
Bro, it has been a good
It
minute.
was a glorious 4:30 drive to work this morning. I enjoyed every second of it, especially getting off at
Whoa.
College Drive due to traffic.
Well, you know why you got off at College Drive due to traffic?
Someone broke down on the Mississippi River Bridge.
No,
That's always
so
my
much better.
go-to.
An ambulance was stolen out of Booty in St. Charles Parish overnight. The driver led state police on a high-speed chase before crashing it right here in Baton Rouge.
Oh man, that is good.
Oh no, it's glorious. We're usually talking before the show, right when that last traffic report airs. But yeah, multiple lanes of the interstate shut down at College Drive. If you just heard, I believe Marissa was in for Ashley this morning covering it. But that's what's going on. Somebody stole an ambulance and crashed it right here in Baton Rouge.
Was anybody else inside? Like, did they steal like
on the way to the
an
hospital?
active ambulance?
I don't think
Yeah.
they stole an ambulance on the way to the hospital.
Okay.
That would be a bold move. Troopers tell WBRZ the suspect struck 2 state police units after a high-speed pursuit early Friday around 4 a.m. on I-10 West, just before Perkins Road. The suspect was transported to a nearby hospital and will be booked accordingly upon release. Officials say the suspect's injuries appear to be non-life-threatening. Waiting to get word back before we fully make fun of this story. Let's wait to get word back on the state of the troopers who were in the 2 LSP units that were struck. So, if you're looking at a slow start to your morning on I-10, that is why. If you are not yet on I-10, maybe think about a different route because that's going to slow things down for a good bit this morning. Outside of that, we got a jam-packed show for you today. 1 hour and 51 minutes from right now. Mobile sports betting goes live. As we hit CBS News, and we're told for the billionth time that nobody knows if Russia's going to invade Ukraine, I will be placing a wager on some former LSU Tigers making it to the Super Bowl. You like how I did that, Taylor? Because all 4 remaining teams have LSU Tigers.
It's true. You just got to decide which ones.
Wait, now, no. I can't pluralize that. One team has a former LSU Tiger. The other 3 have multiples. Ooh, let's do trivia. Which one's which? Which remaining team has only one LSU Tiger?
The 49ers.
And the Tiger is?
Ooh.
Can you unlock this answer? To unlock the answer, you would need
I can't do it. No, I don't have it.
a key. Arden Key.
Arden. Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Not exactly a Pro Bowler. I forgot.
Hey, we're looking for Pro Bowlers here. Tyler Shelvin might get himself a ring. You know?
It's true.
Thad Moss is not going to get a ring, but he could. The Bengals go. Anyway.
Yeah, you could buy one.
I'm sure someone's going to be hawking one a couple weeks after the Super Bowl. Our rundown today, Cup of Tech Gumbo coming your way at 6:35. Haggai Davis is in studio for that. Haggai Davis is back from the darkest depths of darkness and COVID. That's coming up at 6:35. In our 7 o'clock hour, hey, if you're stuck on I-10, how would you like to hear about a new bridge for the billionth time? Dr. Shawn Wilson is going to join us. He heads up DOTD in Louisiana. $1.1 billion is being set aside in the governor's proposed budget for infrastructure projects like a new Mississippi River Bridge. Dr. Wilson's going to tell us all about it. He's also, Dr. Wilson is in Washington, D.C. right now for Washington Mardi Gras. So let's see if we can't get an update from inside the greatest party outside of the state. In our 7 o'clock hour, got the chance to catch up with actor Eric Roberts yesterday. Eric was on the show a few months ago, and he's got a new movie out called A Surprise Visit. I got the chance to talk to him yesterday, so we will hear that at 7:40 this morning. In our 8 o'clock hour, we're going to hear from Renee Amar. She is with Louisiana Women Lead. What do they have in store for 2022? What are we looking at from if you're not familiar with Louisiana Women Lead, they're a fantastic outfit that got started last year. And basically their mission in life is to find more women who look or would like to seek out a public office and help foster their way there. Renee's at 8:15, and then 8:40 this morning. The pandemic has really played hell on a lot of folks' psyche. It has led to a lot of depression and a lot of loneliness, and sometimes help comes from the weirdest places. And this morning, it's coming in the form of a comedian who's been around since the 80s, at least. Her name is Judy Tenuta. We're going to talk a little bit about the pandemic. No, yes, if you recognize the name, you're like, the woman with the accordion? Yes. I don't think she's going to have her accordion this morning, but that's at 8:40 this morning. Plus, we'll have the latest on COVID-19. We will bring you a ton on sports betting and more, all coming your way throughout the show. Right now, we're due up for our first break. When we come back, it is sports time. We're talking women's basketball. We're talking men's basketball. We're talking the NFL next. I'm going to push Muya back to 25. Muya is scheduled in that first segment 4 days out of the dadgum week. And I'm like, who's making lunch plans at 6:11?
6:25 though.
6:25, you're on it. You're hungry by then, right?
Yeah, I mean it's already lunchtime by that point.
People with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of pay, ZipRecruiter finds you.
I am logged in. Am I all the way back down? Oh, wow. Oh, let's see what's in game right now. There's Chinese basketball going on right now?
What team does Jeremy Lin play for? I think he's playing over there.
No. You know who's playing over there? Jordan Mickey.
What team's Jordan Mickey playing
I
for?
don't
I
know.
would have bet on that team because he's the only player I know. I think Lin's playing over there.
Is he?
You know what? Maybe he just retired altogether. I thought he was. He was either there or like the European League or something.
Nope, he's in Russia. Jordan Mickey's in Russia.
Russia.
Who was the other one that played at the same time as Mickey?
Jarrell Martin?
Jarrell Martin.
So what do? Probably move on. If you're concerned that just described your website, you should call us.
Sydney, he's in Australia.
Tim
Who was the
Quarterman.
tall white boy that has a
Justin Hamilton.
Yes.
Not the tuba guy, the good one.
Right.
Well, no offense.
No.
Yeah, I mean,
It
it's
wasn't
cool
Justin
that he-
Hamilton. It wasn't Justin Hamilton. It was
Hornsby?
Oh wait, no, it is Justin Hamilton. There he is.
Yeah, because it was like Hornsby was a guard. I mean, he was around there.
That is a goofy looking dude. Beijing Ducks. Justin Hamilton's with the Beijing Ducks.
All right.
Oh, nuts. It's the Beijing Royal Fighters that are playing right now. Damn it. Oh, wait, text. Hey, morning, Christy. Welcome in, boo.
I was waiting yesterday for Shawn Payton to become the New Orleans Breakers head coach.
Larry Fedora, huh?
How funny would that have been if,
Oh,
funny would that have been if they were like Shawn Payton's Breakers?
it would have been glorious.
Did you see Shawn Payton on Dan Patrick yesterday?
No.
He was good. It's on YouTube as well. It's like a 15-minute interview, but he talked about
He went 19 minutes.
yeah, something like that.
He never does that.
I know. I was like, why is he?
He was.
He must be
funny.
answering those Facebook ads.
I mean, he was interesting. He was,
It's going to be a rough morning. Hey, I don't know if I'm going to get to those LRN cuts in this segment. And we're going to we might run out of time. 3 point. You saw what highlights I wanted? 3.3, then 3.2. .616 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP Sports Time. Oh, you know what? If it were an hour and 45 minutes from right now, we could put money down on the Beijing Royal Fighters in-game. In-game. They're going up against the, is it pronounced Zhejiang Wangsha? Oh, I can't wait, y'all. Like, in the middle of CBS News, I'm going to be burning through the kids' college fund. Kim Mulkey's Tigers rallied in the fourth last night, but came up short against the Razorbacks, 90-76, your final score. This is 2 straight losses for the Tigers. Looking at the box scores, 3-point shooting was the biggest difference, as LSU was 4 of 14, while Arkansas was 13 of 25. But you know what? Forget about the box score. Taylor, you produced the game. Was the 3-point shooting the difference?
Yeah.
Okay.
LSU did not make. You know what? They may have made one late. May have made 1 3-pointer the whole game.
No, 4. Well,
4?
according to the box score, it was 4.
Then 4 late, but going into the fourth, they were 0 for 9.
Okay. Well, Alexis Morris kind of turned it on in the fourth, right? Alexis Morris led the way for the Tigers. She had 22, 3 of the 4 3-pointers for the team. Morris also had 3 steals on the game, including this one.
Ramirez, Daniels gets it to the front court, meets a double team, and almost lost it. She does. She threw it away. Morris has it. Morris to the bucket, will lay it up and in, so the pressure works.
Kayla Pointer was held to 13, though she did have early foul trouble, limiting her first half minutes. Pointer also had 7 assists, like this one.
Pointer hits Afua. 1 dribble, layup. Good. Afua. It's back down to 8.
That was a brief highlight. A really tight cut. Tight cut. Autumn Newby was also in double figures for the Tigers with 15. LSU moves to 17-4 in the season, currently 5th in conference. They will be back at it Sunday at 1 versus 9-8 Kentucky. Pre-game starts at 12:30 right here on Talk 107.3 FM. General Wade's Tigers look to move from losing streak to winning streak when they head to Fort Worth, Texas tomorrow for their turn in the Big 12 SEC Challenge. The Tigers take on TCU at 11 a.m. Pre-game starts at 10:30 on Eagle 98.1. I got to tell you, I'm not really hyped about this game, not knowing where the injury statuses are, and Dug in a little bit on TCU. They've got 4 losses on the season. LSU's 2-3 on the road, right? They're also TCU is 7-2 at home. Okay, they got 2 losses at home. They're vulnerable. One of those losses is the number 1 in the country, Baylor, and the other was just an absolute battle with Texas. Anyway, that game pregame starts at 10:30 tomorrow. So no matter how you shake things out, Taylor and I were talking about this a little while ago. No matter how you shake things out from here, at least one former Tiger is guaranteed a Super Bowl ring. Cincinnati's taking on Kansas City at 2 o'clock Sunday. The Bengals, of course, have Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. They've also got Thaddeus Moss and Tyler Shelvin. The Chiefs feature Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Darrell Williams, and Tyrann Mathieu. On the NFC side, you got the 49ers with Arden Key, and the Rams have Odell Beckham Jr. and Andrew Whitworth. That second game kicks off at 5:30 Sunday. Both games will be over on ESPN. As far as Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals, Burrow knows the Bengals are going to have to get off to a quick start offensively. Cut 16. I did that. I told you right before the segment we're probably not going to get to them, and then I got to one of them.
Get out to a strong start, put some points on the board early, and kind of control the game like we have the last 2 weeks. Can't let a team like this get out in front of you because then they put a lot of pressure on you on defense. They're going to blitz you and make you uncomfortable back there if you get down.
Keep riding that streak. Just keep after it. Here's Fox Business. Sorry, no. It's all good.
Huh? I'm already fired. Yeah, I'm not listening. And then goes
Okay. Oh, well, those 2 pair well back to back. Get a burger. Then burn the pounds off. So we do have LR in 4, 5, and 6 here.
Okay. Yeah, I have that.
What else is in game right now? Ooh, there's tennis. That's not in game. Let's go back to in game. Golf?
Is there a tournament?
No, this is not in game. Well, I guess it's technically in game because you're between rounds. Man, I don't want in game. Let's go back to home. Foosball.
So which app are you got there?
I got the DraftKings app. I'm going to end up getting Wbrz once they're up and running as well. There's 6 of them that launched today. So we had oh crap! Do I have a lot of time here? Any time here? A minute and a half.
About 2 minutes.
Okay, I'll be right back. Yeah, there's 6 of them that launched today. We're gonna. I got a soundbite for this.
Good time. You know a big storm is coming. Prepare in advance. Same goes for our future. Things seem calm right now, so it's the perfect time to prepare for the next big crisis or disaster. That's why you should stock up on emergency food from MyPatriotSupply.com. We're America's largest preparedness company, with millions of happy, well-prepared customers. Our food kits stay fresh for up to 25 years. They're an insurance policy you can eat. You eat it, it'll be there. Shop dozens of food storage kits now at MyPatriotSupply.com. Our kits give you an abundance of food, totaling over 2,000 calories a day. Every family member in America needs one of these kits. So go to MyPatriotSupply.com. Grab a few. That's MyPatriotSupply.com. Do it before the peanut butter hits the fan again. MyPatriotSupply.com.
Now, your Wbrz traffic update from Ashley Fouché.
That's right, breaking news now. Drivers on I-10 running into some heavy delays. You see a live look right here on your screen. A wreck on the interstate causing backup as police work to clear the scene. Now, state police are telling us that this started as a police chase involving a stolen ambulance. And let's take a live look out there right now. The left lane is clear on I-10, but the right and the center lanes are
going to jail and tell people why you're
freeway exit. Congestion has
Went for a joyride in an ambulance.
This report is brought to you by Shawbills, where you can get up to $100 instant savings with the purchase of 4 eligible Bridgestone or Firestone tires. Visit ShawbillsTire.com to learn more.
Bye, Brian. Is it in your folder?
It's in today's folder. I just put it in there. Labeled Ronnie Johns. 623, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Cup of Tech Gumbo coming your way in just a little bit. Stack of topics to cover in Cup of Tech Gumbo. I mean, thick stack if you're watching us on YouTube. So, 8 o'clock this morning, Louisiana will officially join 18 other states, allowing mobile sports betting. Back in November of 2020, 55 parishes voted to legalize sports betting. Today, those digital dollars begin to flow. Our news partners over at Louisiana Radio Network caught up with Eric Ramsey of PlayUSA.com. He expects plenty of people who have never placed a bet before to get in on the action.
Lots of new customers taking advantage of how easy it is to try out these sports betting apps. So I'd expect a pretty big influx of new customers to start with, for one thing.
Yes, they're throwing a lot of free dollars around. You're seeing it all over with advertising. A lot of matching bets, a lot of free bets as well. I'm trying to remember which app it is right now that says you could bet up to $1,000, and if you lose, you still have $1,000. Like I
believe it's FanDuel.
That one's FanDuel?
Yep.
Okay. I mean, everybody's just flinging money around. DraftKings is the one I've already got because I played fantasy football all season on it, which was weird. I could wager money on fantasy football, but not on the game itself.
Games, yeah.
Right. If I have Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp all season long teaming up to post up yards,
I had one of
Sony
those guys.
Michel. It's weird. You could bet on individual players, but not on the full team. Anyway, there's a stack of them. There's 6 different apps that are going to be available as of today. We'll get to that in just a second. Get back to Eric Ramsey. He says Louisiana could be uniquely positioned to be a major player in the mobile sports betting market.
The sports landscape itself in Louisiana is pretty robust, both at the professional and the collegiate level. That's something that states like, Nevada and New Jersey don't necessarily have in the way that Louisiana does.
But do they? I mean, the New York Giants and New York Jets technically play in the Meadowlands of New Jersey. Not a whole lot of college football going on. Well, as Rutgers. And then over there with Las Vegas, you have the Raiders now on an NFL level. And maybe one day UNLV could be back to the running Rebels of the old Jerry Tarkanian days. First-year gross revenue projections for gaming exceed $200 million, with roughly 10% of that coming back to the state. Actually, we need to clarify that because it says in the story 10%, but there is a difference there. There's 10% if you physically walk into a sports book. If you're doing it on your phone, it's 15%. Now, while it isn't a jackpot just yet, Ramsey says it is a nice early payout.
We're talking about maybe 20 or 30 million in tax revenue, which again is not a huge number in a budget of tens of billions of dollars, but this is essentially sound money from a tax standpoint.
Absolutely it is, and it's earmarked for early childhood education. December saw more than $39 million in overall bets being laid down. That's before mobile got here. That was from physically walking in to actual sports books at actual casinos, which, by the way, aren't fully sports books yet. They're still under construction. I mean, if you walk in Wbrz, that's who we have in Baton Rouge, walk in Wbrz, which I have done frequently, which I will probably be doing later on today to cash in my tickets from last week, you got to walk all the way through the casino, all the way to the back, and there's like one window and a number of like ATMs, like kiosks set up. So you could walk up, punch it in on the little computer screen in front of you, or I like walking up to a person and be like, give me 20 on San Francisco. It's physical ticket in hand, cash that back in the next week. Anyway, it's going to grow from here, and yeah, it's 10% if you're in person, 15% on mobile, which is fair. I mean, you're paying for convenience, right? Well, actually, it doesn't come out of your winnings, so what do you care? By the way, 6 mobile apps are up and running an hour and a half from right now. I got to speak with the head of the Louisiana Gaming Control Board, Ronnie Johns, yesterday. Who are the 6 apps that we're looking at? Ronnie Johns.
We're going to have Caesars.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have DraftKings.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have FanDuel. We're going to have 10-1 Barstool. We're going to have BetMGM. And we're going to have Rush Street. Those are the 6 that have been approved as of yesterday.
A number of others are already in the works as well, like BetRivers. BetRivers.net should be up and running shortly as well. So it's coming your way. It's here. It's going to be a lot of money for the state. Let's hope this time around we use it the right way. Got lunch plans yet? I mean, it's 6:28 in the morning. Why wouldn't you? Might I suggest Mooyah burgers, fries, and shakes? Muya's got 2 locations. Blue Bonnet at Highland Road, Segan Lane, just north of Industrialplex. Both locations, you're going to find the same great ingredients. You're going to find freshly cut vegetables, freshly baked potato buns, certified Angus beef. You're going to find top-notch customer service at both locations as well. You're going to find, dare I say, the best burger in Baton Rouge. They got a number of burgers on their menu that can cater to pretty much any burger fantasy you might have. Pouring queso right on the burger? Sure. How about slapping a hot dog right on the burger? Sure. How about the classic double cheeseburger? Yeah. Or if you don't like anything they've got going, Double Diablo is my jam. If you don't like anything they've got going, you could build your own as well. And, oh, by the way, treat yourself to a milkshake on your way out the door. Muya Burgers, Fries, and Shakes, 2 locations. Blue Bonnet at Highland and Segan at Industrialplex. Swing by for lunch today. We're about to hit news here in about a minute and a half. After news, well, we'll go national, local, then traffic, weather. Cup of Tech Gumbo coming your way after that. I do want to remind you, as this is kind of a big story this morning, if you're on I-10 westbound and you're dealing with those slowdowns, there is plenty of reason for it. Some dude stole an ambulance. He did this down in St. Charles Parish. An ambulance was stolen out of Booty in St. Charles Parish overnight. The driver led state police on a high-speed chase before crashing it right here in Baton Rouge. Troopers tell WBRZ the suspect struck 2 state police units after a high-speed pursuit early this morning. It was around 4 a.m. when this actually happened. The suspect was transported to a nearby hospital. He will be booked accordingly upon release. His injuries are expected to be non-life-threatening. No word yet on the state of the police officers, the state police officers who were struck. Don't forget, still to come, since we're talking about traffic, Shawn Wilson coming your way at 7:15, and we will have top stories and trending, the outside in, and everything else that normally comes your way on a Friday show. Cup of Tech Gumbo coming your way right after we check in with news, traffic, and weather here on Talk 107.3. I just brain farted on that.
The marathon advertising for the January 2nd or January 16th event.
Because it has been that long since I've hit refresh.
Hey, Brian, I remember you made a new Tech Gumbo. Is it in here now?
I believe so.
The Tech Gumbo opened at the Scott General Informatics. That one hadn't been playing. I don't know if Jake has been playing the wrong one, but
that's what I was asking. Is it here or here?
I don't know.
Because I remember that one.
Can you preview it without?
Science, so I'm not going to be able to help much. For a full survey, check out Tech Gumbo, presented by Cardinal Capital.
Oh, shoot. That's the one that's in there? All right, I'll be back.
That should not be. Can you catch that card number? Yeah, let me find it.
Now, your WBRZ traffic update from Ashley Fouché.
That's right, breaking news now. Drivers on I-10 running into some heavy delays. You see a live look right here on your screen. A wreck on the interstate causing
Okay, so it says presented by Cardinal Capital and General Informatics.
It's supposed to, yeah.
Okay, well, that's
That one just had Cardinal Capital.
it. Just had Cardinal Capital. All right, I copied it over to today's folder.
See an accident? Reported at WBRZ Traffic on Twitter. This report is brought to you by Shawbells, where you can get up to $100 instant savings with the purchase of 4 eligible Bridgestone or Firestone tires.
Finally, in the YouTubes this morning. Good morning, everybody. Eric, Renee, Clinton, Byron, Troy. What's happening, y'all?
By the way, you missed it earlier. Great comment. You're talking about the Chinese basketball league?
Yeah.
Eric said his favorite team is the Wuhan Bat.
Nice. Nice. They started as a local presence, but they've gone global.
Yeah.
They are a global force.
Byron says, I think the real news is that Booty had an ambulance. I hope the 12 people in the town stay safe. I'm pretty sure the ambulance was just passing through.
Yeah, it was, the ambulance was based in Hahnville.
Yeah.
Either that or parody.
Or what?
Parody.
Yeah. If you're on the way to booming downtown Matthews.
I used to drive through there all the time, going between Morgan City and New Orleans. I mean, that's how
My aunt and uncle lived in Raceland. My cousin lives in Raceland. It's off of 310.
It's between Houma and New Orleans on Highway 90.
I kept thinking
It's like a suburb of Luling.
it was southwest, and I was like, what was he going westbound in Baton Rouge? But if it's
No. Okay, so you know when you take 10 to New Orleans, when that 310 goes and you cross the river there, cross the river there.
Okay. I was thinking it was on this side because I was like, why was he going west? But
That big bridge south of La Place that's mostly unused.
yeah. You have that, and what's the other exit? The one that's on 55 South right before you turn.
Wait, what?
Ruddock.
You
See
know,
the Ruddock exit.
yeah.
I don't wanna incriminate myself like you did, but on the dead body, Ruddock exit. That's the one.
Ruddock. So I know all about the hit. Like Ruddock was a small. They had a.
Yeah, did it get like wiped out by a hurricane or something?
Yes. Yeah. Before they were naming hurricanes, though, it was around like 1911, 1912. The entire town, which was it was a sawmill, and everybody that lived there worked at the sawmill, and the entire town got wiped out by a hurricane. So
Where you drive by, it has a nice sign. It's just like Ruddock exit. You
and
look down, and there's like one
nothing.
light way down. I'm like,
And
"Hey,
there's
going."
and the light has no reason to be there because
Yeah,
it's just
no
one
one lives
street.
there.
There's like 8 fishing camps. Yeah. How cool would it be to rebuild an entire town?
That'd be awesome. I say
Rebuild
do it.
Rebuild Ruddock.
Rebuild
Ruddock.
Rebuild Ruddock.
Yes. It would have been cool to do it on the 100th anniversary of destroying the town, but yeah,
Better late than never.
it was a
You're
sawmill
good.
town, and they just put the wood on the on the lake and take it over to New Orleans.
Somewhere.
It's time for a cup of tech gumbo.
That sounds good. I'll have that.
Haggai Davis talks technology news using language even Brian can understand.
You just don't get it.
I don't have your head for science, so I'm not going to be able to help much.
For a full serving, check out Tech Gumbo, presented by Cardinal Capital and General Informatics, Saturday and Sunday at 4.
We got 30 years worth of files right here in this computer that are going to bring you down.
A cup of Tech Gumbo on Talk 107.3.
I'm sorry, wrong password.
638 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Time for a cup of tech gumbo. Time to welcome in Haggai Davis. Haggai, what's happening, man?
I am back. I am
Welcome back.
alive.
All right, so tell us about your Omicron experience. How bad was it?
It was a runny nose, a slight cough every now and then.
Thank God you survived.
And you know, a lot of cold meds, and a lot of quarantine.
Yeah,
drove my wife crazy for 2 weeks.
So it was more of a COVIDcation.
Oh yeah,
All
I
right.
mean, well, no, I work from home, so I mean,
Well.
I worked every day.
All right. That's it. Yeah, it was. I'm hearing that more and more. Like, it sounds like this thing's downgrading itself.
Well, you know, certainly, having been vaccinated and boosted and everything, that was, you know, the key to making sure that it was.
Of course.
Was almost nothing.
Well, yeah. So I'm working under the assumption that most of us should be in that window by now, right?
Yeah.
Should be. You can't tell me. We should be. You don't have to be, but you should be.
Yeah, it was the only reason I actually, because I had a cold that was lasting 3 days. I'm like, oh, you know what? Let's just go get tested just to see.
Right.
And oh yeah, you're positive. I'm like,
that was your mistake, buddy.
Yeah, I could have, could have not gone and got tested and been the super spreader walking around doing.
But here's the thing, though. It's that time of year where everybody has the crud anyway,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
So, yeah. It's, well, I'm glad you're back at it. But, yeah, the Omicron, if you've been vaccinated and boosted and all that other good stuff, getting Omicron is like living in Alexandria when a hurricane passes through. It's already been downgraded to a tropical storm by the time it gets to you, but you still have to pay that named storm deductible.
Oh, yeah.
That's where we're at with Omicron.
That's a good analogy. I like that one.
You like that? Yeah. Made a little insurance-based. All right, we got a lot of ground to cover here. Oh, we got a lot of space to cover here.
We do.
Hey, now. A SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket stage will crash into the moon in March.
March 4th. Get your popcorn out and get ready. So back in 2015, one of the Falcon 9s that they were trying to launch out there to deep space did not leave.
Is it Deep Space Nine?
No, it is not
Okay.
Deep Space Nine, but it's going to be leaving a deep impact on the moon.
Ooh, well played.
This rocket, it never got out of the gravitational pull of the Earth and the moon, and so for the past 6 years, it's been spinning around the Earth and everything. But somebody did the math, and this thing is actually going to crash into the back side of the moon, the dark side of the moon, on March 4th, and it's coming in really fast, and it's going to leave quite a big cloud of dust and a big hole on.
So is that like a problem, kicking up dust on the moon?
No, I don't think so. I mean, not to me, it's not. I mean, it's going to be cool to watch. The NASA's going to, turn some satellites out and go watch the impact, and be a lot of cool research they'll be able to do to find out what happens, what that looks like, and everything.
Is it going to wake up the monster that lives beneath the surface that's just been waiting around to attack us all? Because we're in 2022 now, which is coming out of 2021, which is coming out of 2020, and each year has been progressively worse. Moon monsters are next, Haggai. Pull out your bingo card.
It's just going to cut up a slice of the cheese that the moon is made out
Exactly.
of. And have it ready for when Elon Musk lands his SpaceX stuff up there in a few years.
Hey, speaking of SpaceX stuff, I thought you'd shared a story about...
We did a bunch of updates on SpaceX this year.
Well, so there's the one about the Starlink data that will enable a big leap over broadband. We're going to get to that and talk about that on a serious level. I do want to ask about this one. Starlink satellites are photobombing astronomy images now?
Yes. So that there's just under 1,500 satellites that are in position. There's another almost 300 that are almost in position. And so you have all these astronomers with their land-based telescopes looking up at the sky at night, taking photos of these nebulas and galaxies all around the universe. And there's streaks, white streaks going across their pictures because these satellites are reflecting sunlight, and it's ruining all these pictures and research. And these astronomers are really not happy with Mr. Musk at the moment.
They have every right to be angry about this. I mean, this is something where one day you are able to look at the stars, the next day you are looking at basically a NASCAR track.
And so SpaceX has said, okay, we recognize that's a problem. So they've started putting some shadowing on the satellites, so it's actually 6% less reflective. and then they're going to put some visors on the next rounds, so it's going to not reflect the sun as much. And as each one of these satellites that SpaceX is putting up there, they're not permanent. They're all going to go up and last 3 to 5 years, and then they're going to deorbit and burn up in the atmosphere on re-entry, and they'll just keep putting up more and more and more all the time. So SpaceX has said, eventually we're going to start putting up satellites that won't be reflective and won't screw up everybody's pictures of the night sky, but that's years away.
So Elon Musk has essentially created a problem for astronomers, and I don't know how much reducing something by 6% will affect the overall outcome. But nonetheless, it's, 5,301 satellite images or satellite streaks appeared on the photography?
Yeah.
So if Elon Musk created a problem, I'm guessing Elon Musk is going to solve the problem by finding a new way to launch astronomers into space. No. If you want a good look at space, you got to go to space to do it. You'll get outside the rim of the satellites, and look, here it is, firsthand. It's like a glass-bottom boat for space.
There's a lot more astronomers who want to look up than people who can get time on the James Webb or the Hubble Space Telescopes.
Right.
And that's the problem. I mean, there's 3 or 4 of those satellites that are up there in space, telescopes that are looking out, versus all of the ground-based telescopes looking up around the world.
Right. Yeah. If Musk is causing the problem, Musk is going to end up solving it.
You have more faith in him than I do.
Oh, no. I have every bit of faith, every ounce of faith that he's going to find a way to turn some coin off of this.
Well, he may be that way. He'll some Dogecoin. Yes.
Absolutely. We've got a lot more ground to cover, but since we're talking about Starlink, you had sent over a story about Elon Musk shares crucial Starlink data that will enable big leap over global broadband. We got about a minute here, so let's tee it up and then we'll knock it out later.
So these satellites that are spinning around that are going to be providing internet access, they are now going to be laser linked, so that instead of this, when you get your information from one of the satellites off on the dish right here, right now, you're just pulling straight down and going right back up. As these satellites are laser linked together, the information will transfer across all of the satellites, and it'll be networked together, so your information will transmit that much faster and better.
Wait, if they're all networked together, does this lead to privacy concerns?
No, not at all.
Okay.
No more than your internet service provider now, which is networked all across the city.
Okay, we're going to pause right here because we got to check traffic, and then we're going to check your money now. When we come back, I want to ask, why does this give it a big leap over global broadband? What is global broadband not doing that, or what does global broadband not provide that this does? We'll pick it back up. It's a Cup of Tech Gumbo as part of Mornings with Brian Haldane. Breaking right here. When we come back, more of a Cup of Tech Gumbo next. Okay. I got to figure out the right way to ask this. I know what I'm trying to ask. I just don't know how to get it out of my mouth. Troy says rebuild Ruddock like Rock Ridge. That's right. Somebody go back and get a shitload of dimes.
I like the Troy with the augmented reality.
I didn't see that one. Oh. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. A new telescope that filters out the reflection through augmented reality. I can see that. Because if you think about it, you only need one telescope. If you have one that's beyond that rim, beyond that orbit.
But if it's looking that way, you want to look that way.
Timeshare it.
Well, if you've got 1,000 astronomers and you divide up that time.
It's Elon Musk. Muscavision's coming.
So you put the satellite up with a 360 view. It just
Right, to where you can look out or you can look right back at your own nose hairs. It don't matter. LSU baseball's first practice is today.
It's a scrimmage. I think it's like an open scrimmage or something.
Wow. Maybe the B-roll should include Trey Morgan just dropping a ball while he's trying to throw it. There he goes, dropped it again. Come on, Trey. He's a great first baseman, too.
That'd be funny. They're like, let's show our top defensive player.
And side note, why is Trey Morgan shagging fly balls in left field?
He's like a backup outfielder.
Never take him off of first.
No, I know, but he played a little bit of outfield in high school.
I love that jersey.
Who?
Mario's got a Marcus Thornton jersey on.
Underrated LSU basketball player.
Yeah, well, offensively, yes.
Carried that 08 team, man.
He couldn't D me up. Like he's
Stop it. Nailed it.
bro, not even the least bit rusty.
I did actually do this like 2 weeks ago. Well, no, it was about a month. Yeah, it was about a month.
It was while I was out. Yeah.
It was in December. Which was harder because the host didn't know what they were doing either.
Oh yeah, you were in with Franz that day.
I was in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah. You were in.
I was on Thursday, Friday.
Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, you bailed on me.
It was a rough week. I had morning show, midday ESPN, Jada Cook.
Oof.
For like 4 days. It was a rough week, man. And then they were like, hey, we need you to put our YouTube videos up for ESPN. And when? When am I going to do that?
Hey, well, that's a whole thing. We're not we kill a mic. Damn right. Ooh. 652 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. I got hot mic right there. You saw that? That's on me. Cup of Tech Gumbo rolling right along. We were talking about Elon Musk and Starlink data that will enable a big leap over global broadband. I'm spending the break trying to figure out how to ask the question, why can't broadband do what Starlink is going to do?
Global broadband, what Musk is talking about here is that it's going to have, you're going to be able to get internet access from the satellite anywhere around the world. You can be on a boat in the middle of the Pacific, and you'll be able to get the internet.
Okay.
At broadband speeds.
So it's just the remote areas of access, right?
Yes.
All right. So because I'm thinking of this in terms of what we're looking to do throughout the state when it comes to increasing broadband. I'm thinking about the task that Vineeth Iyengar has taken over to put fiber in as many, nooks and crannies of Louisiana as possible. This doesn't have anything to do with that. This is getting much more remote and much more places where they don't have that ability.
So this is, and I've had Vineeth on the show, and we've talked about it, and there are cases where the fiber is going to be a better deal.
Mm-hmm.
Fiber is always going to be faster. Fiber is always going to be more reliable.
Yes.
But this global internet access that Starlink is going to provide is going to get to places that fiber cannot get to.
Right.
And so, it's going to be an interesting decision as to how much money you spend to run fiber to one home 20 miles outside of town, or put a $500 dish out there that pulls down off the satellites.
Exactly. And I think the moral of the story is don't fight either. You want to welcome both.
Yes, absolutely.
We're seeing more and more people taking like a hardline stance about we don't need this because we've got this. No, you want this just in case you don't have access to that.
When you have weather impacting, your ability to pull down from a satellite, and you need that internet access,
mm-hmm.
that's when fiber's a lot more reliable, obviously.
Yeah. All right, we got a lot more ground to cover here, and we can't spend it all on Elon Musk, although I wanted to get to his Twitter topic, but we're going to have to move on.
Oh, no, that's a really cool story.
Is it?
Yes.
All right, let's spend a minute on it.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Elon Musk considers the Twitter account a security risk. He opened a conversation with 19-year-old Jack Sweeney over Twitter DM last fall. He was referencing a Twitter account called @ElonJet, which tracks the movements of his private jet around the world. It was a late-night message that came in at 12:30 in the morning, Sweeney's time. The college freshman didn't lose any sleep. His replied nearly 7 hours later, "Yes, I can, but it'll cost you a Model 3, only joking, unless." So from there, it goes on.
So what this guy has done, his dad, this 19-year-old kid, his dad is an airline industry insider.
Mm-hmm.
So he's known about the availability of different pools of data from the airline industry, so that if you have a private jet and you have that N6583 number on the back, on the tail of your plane, every time that plane files a flight plan and takes off and going somewhere, it has to report this data.
Right.
Well, you can also list your plane as being private, so that that information doesn't say this is Elon Musk's jet taking off and going somewhere. But this kid's he's built out an algorithm so that anytime the jet is taking off, @ElonJet posts to Twitter, hey, Elon's taking off from Sacramento and he's flying to Austin.
How is this any different than what sports reporters in Baton Rouge do every time there's a coaching search?
Well, that's information from sports information directors and things like that.
No,
there's sources that are telling people this. Hey, there's a plane taking off, as opposed to pulling data from the FAA files that say this plane has filed a flight pattern going here. But he tracks Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, a whole lot of movie stars and that kinds of things. And it's a security risk. Elon Musk is saying, look, I don't want to land at the Austin airport and have some nut job who's upset with me pulls out a gun and shoots the plane down, or shoots me as I get off the plane.
Right.
I'd rather, if you want to put this information out, put it out 24 hours later after I've been able to get away from the airport, kind of thing.
So, yeah, it is a major security risk, but it's not – the way the headline reads, it makes it sound like it's about Twitter. It's not about Twitter. Twitter's not the security risk.
It's the fact that this guy, who's a 19-year-old college student who knows coding, he could pull information from different pools and cross-reference and figure out, oh, wow, that's Elon's jet.
So there's a FlightAware website, right?
Right.
Where you can get the tail number of the plane and know where the plane is registered from.
But Delta Airlines is giving that information, saying, we want you to track our planes.
This goes beyond that, though. Like when, a plane left, the tail number is registered to Ann Arbor, Michigan. Jim Harbaugh's the next coach. Like, that's where these rumors come from. This guy is taking it to the next granular level to get...
Because he's saying this is Elon Musk.
Right.
In a jet leaving, Silicon Valley heading to Austin, Texas, or he's going to wherever kind of thing.
What's coming up on Tech Gumbo this week?
So we're going to talk a lot about Microsoft, and they're buying the Activision Blizzard.
Yeah, that's where.
This is a big deal. I mean, Microsoft is trying to become the Netflix of gaming with the Xbox, and this purchase for $75 billion in cash,
which is what I'm going to win on the Chiefs this weekend.
Good for you.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm excited about it because the first time I make a bet, if I do, will be the first time I've ever spent money on gaming.
Nice.
Like that. And we will probably do that on at some point come up. This would be a good topic to do. But we're going to talk a lot about the Microsoft Activision purchase if it is allowed to happen. The regulator's still going to have a lot to say about it.
Full serving attack Gumbo Saturday and Sunday at 4 right here on Talk 107.3 FM and anywhere you get your podcasts on demand. He is Haggai Davis. As we go into break, you're going to hear CBS News on the air. On YouTube, we're talking about where does anti-vax propaganda begin. Haggai, appreciate you.
You bet.
So, this one, I should have led with this one. This one was my favorite. And 2/3 of anti-vax propaganda online created by just 12 influencers. Yeah. Is it fair to say that this level of disinformation is happening on all stops along the political spectrum?
Oh, absolutely. Most of the propaganda, the memes that you see on social media, that's coming out of Russia.
Mm-hmm.
This is just coming out of, there's 12 people that they've identified that started this anti-vaxxing stuff, and almost all of it, to the 2/3 to this day, still originate from these 12 people who keep generating all of this anti-vax, propaganda is the best way to put it, that's being spread. So anytime you see a meme or a tweet or a Facebook post, it's coming from one of 12 people.
That's crazy that they can narrow it down to 12. Now, is doxing in order for these 12?
Well, we spent more time talking about the democratization of technology and the internet than we really did about where this information was tracked back to.
Okay.
And because there was another story about it was about the plane that tracking, should that information be allowed to do?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's public information. This guy did not go, breaking any laws. I mean, there's total public, but to take that public information and extrapolate other things to now you're putting people in jeopardy.
Right. So, yeah, the level I've seen it with the tail numbers on the planes, before Brian Kelly was hired, a private jet out of Baton Rouge flew to Norman, Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. And it was on FlightAware that the tail number was registered to a private jet out of Baton Rouge, and it flew to Norman, Oklahoma. Why is a private jet flying to Baton Rouge from Baton Rouge to Oklahoma? Because we're hiring Bob Stoops. That's why. Turns out it's a local businessman whose daughter is a freshman at Oklahoma. He went to go visit his daughter for the weekend.
Story, right.
So we have it down to that granular level. Now, you could take, once you know what that tail number was, and then you match it with the businessman afterwards, you can match that tail number back to that businessman every time he flies. So, I don't know. I honestly don't know why that step hasn't been taken. Like, why haven't we seen that more?
Because, number one, there's not that many people that are that interested. But to take it to the levels of where it's going now, because this one, if you mark your plane as an unregistered or a non-registered or a private, they can't associate that name back to the person. Now, the Air Force One makes a flight plan. It has to be, Air Force One still has to show where they're flying to.
Really?
Yes.
See, that's a security risk to me. Air Force One, I'll just say, get out of our way.
And they can't.
You've got 10 minutes. Get out of the way.
Doesn't matter. Every plane flying has to have that tail number on it, and it all starts with N. That means it's North American.
Mhm.
And when it gets in the air, the FAA knows about it,
Yeah.
and is tracking it, and knows where it's going, so that should something happen between point A and point B, if it goes down, they know, okay, we need to look along this flight plan to find it.
Right. No, yeah, and make sure other flight plans aren't,
Yeah.
crossing the streams there. The anti-vax propaganda one, though, getting back to that real quick before we get shot here, it's insane how. So I'm following this chick on TikTok. She goes by the handle of Disinfo Gal. She claims to have formerly worked for the CIA, and just in data analytics and whatnot. And she has been an overwhelming source of information that makes sense. And the long and the short of it is, if your first reaction to anything you see or read online is emotional and not analytical, you're probably being misled. If you have a gut reaction of, ooh, that pisses me off, or, oh, those people had it coming, like, if that is your gut reaction, you're either only getting a part of the story or you're straight up being lied to.
Yep.
And that's what this is. This anti-vax information like this, it is meant to trigger a response within us that says the government's here to.
With the same thing, if you see anything political, Nancy Pelosi on a Facebook post, that originated in Russia.
Right. Or, we're up to now, I want to say it's up to 5 million people stormed the Capitol last January 6th. Everybody who's a Republican stormed the Capitol last January 6th and killed people and ate them.
Yeah.
I didn't kill people, but I did eat a few.
What?
I said I didn't kill anybody, but I did eat a few.
Yeah. 7:05, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. We are under an hour away from the launching of mobile sports betting in Louisiana. Can you tell I'm a little hyped? There's probably a number of people out there right now like, get over it, Haldane. I will as soon as the first wager's placed. But let's get there first. This is kind of a big deal. This, like, when we made advancements with legalizing medical marijuana, it's kind of a big deal. You're crossing a threshold societally, and Louisiana is one of the first 18 or within the first 20 to get this done. So the fact that we're not last is a big deal to me. The fact that we're not watching 49 other states and Puerto Rico cash in before we do is a big deal to me. Hey, thanks again to Haggai Davis for stopping by for a cup of tech gumbo. If you're watching us on YouTube, you heard a lot more conversation about how 2/3 of anti-vax propaganda online is created by just 12 influencers. A great bonus segment on disinformation. This hour, we're talking with Dr. Shawn Wilson in our next segment. He's up at Washington Mardi Gras. Going to get an update on what's going on in D.C., but more importantly, going to get an update on earlier this week, the governor introduced his proposed budget. That proposed budget includes $1.1 billion for infrastructure needs. Within that will be money for a new Mississippi River bridge. We're going to talk with Dr. Wilson about why I should not feel like Charlie Brown, and the latest budget is Lucy holding the football. We're also going to hear from Eric Roberts. Actor Eric Roberts has a new movie out called A Surprise Visit. I got the chance to catch up with him yesterday. We will hear that at 7:40. Going to get you to top stories and trending in just a minute, but after the show today, I'll be headed over to Blue Bonnet at Perkins Road. Right next door to Rouse's, you're going to find a place called Go Slim Nutrition, Geaux Slim Nutrition. GoSlimBR.com is the website. 763-9600 is the phone number. Look, there's never a good time of year in Louisiana to start a diet. There's never an ideal time to start a diet. But there's never a bad time either. Like right now, we're in the midst of carnival season. Every day at the office, or at least 3 days a week at the office, somebody's bringing in a king cake. You're hit with that all carnival season long. And right after carnival season, we have Lent, which means sacrifice everywhere else around the world. For us, it means eating boiled crawfish. Firing that down with a couple of cold ones.
Lent is followed by grillin' season, and grillin' season is followed by tailgate season, which is followed by the holidays. There's never a time where you could just say, all right, everything is off my plate, literally and figuratively, it's time to diet. We got to do things a little bit differently here in Louisiana. We got to be a little more proactive, and that's where the folks at Go Slim Nutrition come in. Swing by. They're on Bluebonnet at Perkins. I'll be there at 10 o'clock today. I'll buy you a couple of bars and shakes. How about it? It's all about accountability. They've got great bars and shakes and some diet prepared meals and whatnot. But going over there every single week, knowing when you sit down with Vicky or any member of her team and they ask, how'd you do this week? Well, they had a chocolatey Claire king cake in the office yesterday. All right. Had a little sample of that. How are you going to work on doing this better next week? Right now, what we're asking of you at Go Slim Nutrition, adopt a healthier habit for the next 45 days. And when you drinking more water, exercising more, cutting out soft drinks, adopt that for 45 days and pair it with a Jumpstart program. 763-9600 for Go Slim Nutrition. All right, top stories and trending. Let's get it. An LSU student's facing a felony charge after using a message board app to warn students of a soon-to-come active shooter on campus. 18-year-old Dominic Elick Moore posted, "There's about to be an active shooter in the 459 at 6:30. He posted this on Yik Yak, a social media app based on proximity. I posted it on Monday. The 459 is a dining hall on LSU's campus. LSU PD was made aware of the post. They investigated. They came across Moore. Moore used somebody else's phone to make the post because his account had already been canceled due to making threats.
This makes so much sense to me now. I was doing the Will Wade show Monday night, and the computer in the studio, as you know, is linked to LSU.
Yep.
I got a warning that popped up that said suspicious activity in the 459. I was like, okay, well, what do I do with this? So I just closed it. I didn't know what that was, but that had to be it.
And like they didn't have a 459 when I was there. So, I mean, we just go eat at the Union.
Yeah, and I was like, well, is that outside where I'm at? What's suspicious? I was like, I don't know what this is.
What's the 45? Let's see. Pitbull's Mr. 305. I don't know what the 459 is.
I don't know what 459 was.
One person is dead after a Thursday night shooting inside a gas station on South Sherwood Forest Boulevard. Sources say the shooting happened at around 7 p.m. in the Circle K on South Sherwood near North Harold's Ferry. No more details on this were made immediately available. 4 people were arrested after a month-long crime spree across Baton Rouge. BRPD said the crime spree started on December 29th. It involved at least 5 armed robberies and a home invasion. Police tracked one of the suspects Wednesday to a home on Monica Avenue where officers seized several guns and an unspecified amount of... Gotta love an unspecified amount of cash. How much was that? It's unspecified.
It was a lot, but we don't know.
Is it the same as it was earlier? Yes, I swear. Jorge Aldari Menciac, Ramel Zaire Banegas Vieja, Ever Alexander Robles Cordova, and Didier Javier Guardado Cardenas were all arrested in the bust. Ballistics evidence has linked a weapon seized from a teenager in Baker to multiple crimes in Baton Rouge. The pistol is connected to at least 5 shootings in the capital city dating back to 2018. Baker Police Chief Carl Dunn says we test fire every gun we receive. That gun leaves a fingerprint. I need that fingerprint in our database. 2 weeks ago, Dunn held a news conference showing off the firepower that was seized from the streets. Many of the weapons were not reported stolen or lost. Dunn made a push to have each person with a weapon log and write their serial numbers down. That's just what they want us to do. These guns aren't just for Instagram anymore, Dunn said. They are actually taking these guns and using them. We have to put a stop to it, and every day we can put a stop to it. By the way, right now the Baker Police Department is working with detectives from the Baton Rouge Police Department on those 5 different shooting cases. Charges are coming as police connect the dots. So around 4 o'clock this morning, a man driving a stolen ambulance crashed into 2 state police units on I-10. You've been hearing about it in our traffic reports throughout the morning. Well, the problems continue. We're looking at closures, lane closures on I-10. Here's how the story broke out, according to our news partners at Wbrz. An ambulance was stolen out of Booty down in St. Charles Parish overnight. The driver led state police on a high-speed chase before crashing it in Baton Rouge. Troopers tell WBRZ the suspect struck 2 state police units after the high-speed pursuit around 4 o'clock this morning. The driver of the stolen ambulance was taken to the hospital. No word on if any of the state troopers were injured. We've got traffic for you throughout the morning.
That's the home of Shawn Booty, right?
No, it's not Shawn Booty, Louisiana, although they might rename it, you know. It's already Booty. Make it Shawn Booty, Louisiana.
I like that.
Those are your top stories. Here's a look at what's trending. Oh, Taylor.
Yes?
You didn't think that I would let you back in here without having to invoke the shark and alligator rule.
I did not. I remember the rule.
Do you remember the rule?
If there's a story out there, you will find it.
The Rusk County Sheriff's Office in the East Texas town of Kilgore got more than they bargained for when they carried out an investigation into a resident's home from a Crime Stoppers tip at 509 Leach Street, if you're in Kilgore. They were investigating a call about illegal drug distribution. Not only did they recover a large amount of drugs, but illegal ownership of a reptilian type of alligator with their search warrant. According to the Rusk County Sheriff's Office Facebook page, 44-year-old James Best was taken into custody on 4 counts of felony charges related to controlled substances that included a quarter pound of marijuana, PCP, angel dust, THC vape cartridges, guns, cash, and they also recovered what is believed to be a caiman, or is that pronounced caiman? C-A-I-M-N-A, it's caiman, yeah. Yeah, it's a species related to an alligator.
I think it's just smaller a little bit.
Yeah, like tiny gator. They find them in South and Central America. The alligator was believed to be approximately 3 feet long in Rusk County, Kilgore, Texas. That is one of 2 trending stories. I got to touch on one more before we get out of here, and we're running long for Dr. Wilson. A federal judge is set to decide a new sentence today for Joe Exotic. Yep, after an appeals court ruled last year that the prison, it's like you never left, Taylor. We're right back into Tiger King. After an appeals court ruled last year that the prison term he's serving on a murder-for-hire conviction should be shortened, we will learn the fate of Joe Exotic, hopefully, later on today. All right, those are your top stories in trending. Going to take a quick break. When we come back, a new bridge in Baton Rouge. It's on the table. It's next. Colton says, Brian, when you win $75 billion this weekend, are you going to go to Disney World? That's like winning a Super Bowl, in my opinion. Colton, $75 billion, I might be able to afford a 3-day Disney World trip.
He's gonna buy Disney.
I get a lot of cheeseburgers.
You can get 2 cheeseburgers and 3 of the Mickey Rice Krispie treats for $75 billion at Disney.
Right. I can
know what guy wants.
I can either purchase my own island or go to Disney World for a week.
Which easy decision, Disney for a week.
It's the same price. Baton Rouge friend's daughter was in the same dorm as Steve Jobs' son, was asked for a date, and she declined. My friend demanded that she go back and say, yeah, what? What am I missing? I'm missing a whole conversation here.
This kid asked someone out, and they said no. Which I don't know why you would say no.
Interesting.
All you got to do is wait till they have a terrible accident. Claim all that money.
Is that where we're at now? Is that where we're at now? I'm not setting my fantasy roster until Sunday morning, damn it.
Oh, you can do like the weekly fantasy thing?
Yeah. $718 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. So, is it finally going to become a reality? Governor John Bell Edwards earlier this week announced his budget proposal. There is $1.1 billion set aside for infrastructure. Joining us now to talk about that is the head of the Department of Transportation in Louisiana, Dr. Shawn Wilson. Dr. Wilson, welcome back to Talk 107.3. How are you, sir?
I am doing well. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you. Wait, before we get into infrastructure and the possibility of a new bridge, you're up in D.C. for Washington Mardi Gras, correct?
Well, that's a part of what we're in D.C. for. We also have several meetings, whether it's with Federal Highways, American Association of State Highway Transportation Officials, Academies of Science, and, of course, the D.C. Mardi Gras.
How is it with Washington Mardi Gras this year? Because, like, COVID restrictions and all that, is it populated? Is everybody fun and festive in our normal Louisiana self? Is the 65th Parish rocking?
Everything is the same, except you're going to do it with a mask on. So there's a really healthy crowd. You wouldn't know that there's been a shortage of this last year, but things are well. Things are well. People seem to be enjoying themselves.
All right. I like it. I like it a lot. You know what? From a Washington Mardi Gras perspective, this is where a lot of Louisiana gets to meeting together and talking and collaborating, and a lot of good comes out of it. From your department standpoint, is there networking that's vital from this conference or from this get-together?
Well, absolutely. So, part of what we're talking about, you've read the story about potential train issues. I'm meeting with Wbrz, who's the administrator of FRA. We've got lots of opportunities to bring additional dollars to Louisiana. We met yesterday for about 2.5 hours with National Academies of Science Gulf Research Project, which is funding new ways to operate and live on the Gulf as it relates to water and natural habitats and what we can do better. So there's tremendous opportunities ahead for Louisiana that happens for infrastructure, but just the way of life here. So this is a pretty good time to be here.
Yeah, it absolutely is, especially in the wake of the infrastructure bill being introduced last year, when there's money allocated to different states, but then within that, there's dollars that you got to kind of have to lobby for. Why not throw the biggest party around to lobby for them? It just makes sense.
You're absolutely right. So it's not just formula funds. It's about building and maintaining relationships, advocating for projects. We've had several delegation meetings with highway folks. So, yeah, it is an exciting time, and this is the work that you have to lay to build progress in your states.
Absolutely. So right now, as you're in Washington, D.C., right now on I-10, right around College Drive, 10 westbound near College Drive, somebody stole an ambulance out of Booty last night, got in a high-speed chase, and crashed into 2 state police units. I-10 westbound has 2 lanes closed literally as we speak. The number of people who are just sitting there saying, darn it, I wish there was another bridge or another route I could take to get to the other side of the river is growing minute by minute. So how much of this $1.1 billion that the governor's talking about would go to a new Mississippi River bridge?
So the governor's proposed that we spend about $500 million for the bridge. Now, we aren't ready to write a check today to a contractor to build it because there's a process we have to go through that we are actively pursuing.
Mm-hmm.
And so that $500 million would be a huge jump start and fund for this project. It's absolutely essential.
Okay, $500 million is a great jump start. How much does it cost to build a Mississippi River bridge?
So there's still some uncertainty with that. And I say uncertainty because we're still going through the environmental process.
Mm-hmm.
Once you define where the bridge is going to be, you're going to have different footprints that you're going to have to potentially construct, as well as connect to LA1, but go from LA1 to I-10, and then from LA30 to I-10.
Okay, it's like you're reading my notes, Dr. Wilson, because that's exactly where I'm It literally says on my paper, earlier in the week, you got more specific than I've heard in the past by mentioning Highway 1 and Highway 30. That is more specific. It makes sense when you look at a map, but that's actually stating the names out loud makes sense. Now, where are we? I know we're down to a number of finalists for locations. Where are we with whittling down to one location?
So we're whittling down the locations. We expect to be closer to a 3 number later this year. That's going to allow us to dig deeper. Reality is you don't want to do the level of investigation in detail on 18 or 20 different locations. You really want to narrow it down like a funnel. The reality is people complain about the Audubon Bridge and where it's placed, and that only 2,000 cars a day on average are using it. Had we gone through this process and made the right decision, I don't think the bridge would have ended where it is. And so we don't want to make that same mistake. We don't want to make just an arbitrary decision. And the fact that this is going to be a public-private partnership, we're going to have to think about where we will attract the ridership to best serve the purposes of transportation.
The number of factors that go into this is kind of ridiculous. When you talk about the number of the maximum usage versus distance from the current bridge versus the actual geology, the actual dirt underneath, a lot of the best looking locations are likely wetlands and would cost extreme amounts more to get it done. How do you weigh and balance these different factors in trying to narrow it down?
So you read my notes right now. So the reality is we go through this on all of our big projects. And so it's not uncommon for us to have to make these tough decisions. You actually go through the process and then you mitigate the different environmental issues. And so whether it's utilities, whether it's wetlands, all of that has to be well thought out so that you can make the best possible decision. They don't happen in a vacuum. And that's what actually takes time. That's what you cannot rush because we actually review data, we compare data, and we make the best engineering decision.
When you mention environmental studies, it's natural to say environmental study because you're talking about the dirt underneath. But would any other environmental impacts affect this as well, like different habitats for wildlife?
Absolutely. And so, people tend to think that the NEPA process, the environmental process, is strictly just the physical environment. You're also looking at social implications as well. And so it's not an easy decision on where to site a bridge. We know that there's only a certain number of locations because the water in the river is going to move and the Coast Guard will have to permit that.
Mm-hmm.
We've narrowed some of that down, but we're getting into a level of specificity that I think is absolutely essential that I know we've used on other projects, and it's going to work out for the best.
If we're narrowed down to 3 by later this year, when do you think? And I'm not gonna. No one's going to hold you to this. I'm asking you to ballpark it. When can we be down to 1, and when can we start to see dirt being turned?
So you'll get down to 1 after you go through a much more detailed investigation of those 3. And so I don't have a date for you. I will tell you there are things that we will do as long as I'm secretary that's going to advance this, and that's running multiple plans. And so you may have remembered the I-10 project, the Loyola project down in New Orleans, the Barksdale. All of those projects were still in environmental when we started the procurement process. They were still in environmental as we were putting together the financial plan. And so the idea that we can jumpstart this is phenomenal. So we're going to run parallel tracks to best expedite this. Now, there are opportunities to engage with the private sector that will add even additional value in the environmental process. All of that is what we want to take advantage of. And so I won't tell you that as long as I'm secretary and I'll be secretary at least for 2 more years, I won't tell you that we're going to be able to break ground in that 2-year window. But this project has advanced much further than it ever has. So we're excited about that. So that's a long way to say I can't tell you exactly when.
All right, fair enough. It's look, as I've lived in Baton Rouge my entire adult life, the promise of a new bridge has left me as a Baton Rougean feeling like Charlie Brown going to kick the football.
Look, it happens with everybody, and I tell people these are projects that should have happened 20 years ago. We can't change the fact that we've waited way too long for this, and that in previous administrations we didn't advance this issue enough. That's the nature of where we find ourselves, which is why we have to make the tough decisions, which is why we got to make the kind of investment the governor's proposing, which is why we've got to stick to a plan and be diligent about it and not be parochial with the state's resources as we go and spend $500+ million on potentially 55 different projects that won't offer the same impact as this one big project, because the longer it takes, the more expensive it's going to be, the more complicated it's going to get, and the more frustrated people will be because of the time to deliver that's necessary.
We got Secretary Shawn Wilson on for a little bit longer, about 3 more minutes here before we have to hand you back off to Washington Mardi Gras. And I want to use it. Well, let's start here, or shift gears to move here. The folks stuck on I-10 westbound right now by College Drive are probably thinking a flyover would be a good way to get off the interstate right now. How are we going with that project?
So that project is actually a little ahead of schedule, as I understand. It's very impressive for what they're moving. They're working on the bridge over the eastbound lanes of I-12 right now. That project is going to be finished before the end of the year. And so we're excited to see the progress they're making and look for. And look, and this is a part of the larger project in terms of what's happening on I-10.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be essential to get this part and the other pieces done. And when you take these big mega projects, you're going to have to phase it from traffic perspectives. You're going to have to deliver this in the best possible way. And the same thing is going to happen on the bridge.
Okay. I mean, that's fantastic news as far as the flyover is concerned. Absolutely. One more before I get you out of here. We are still looking at a multi-billion-dollar, $14-15 billion backlog with projects within DOTD around the state. When you see something like $1.1 billion being allocated towards infrastructure, does your mind go towards knocking out the big-ticket items or crossing off as many smaller ticket items as you possibly can, kind of, baby stepping this thing like Dave Ramsey?
So historically, when the states receive this kind of largesse, we've invested, and even in this administration, we've spread it around to be able to deal with some of the pressures happening in all corners of the state. Now that we're in this situation of having those dollars having been invested, the vehicle sales tax money coming, as well as the ARP dollars that we've had, it's an opportunity for us to focus on the big projects. And so what you see in this list are mega projects that we have not advanced to the same degree that we've done small bridges, that we've done overlays. It's not the best model to say, here's $64 million. Let's give each parish $1 million to go do a big project. That's not going to happen. But when you only have $64 million, that may be the best approach.
Right.
Now that we've got hundreds of millions of dollars at our disposal, I believe the governor is right on point by saying, let's put some of this money on Lake Charles. Let's put some of this money on I-49. Let's put some of this money on the new bridge, because you may not always have this same level of resources in 2 years, in 3 years, so you can build a fund, much like what you do with your own money. If you're going to be building a new house, if you're going to put on a new roof, you're going to put money aside for the time when you do it. The state should do the same thing when they have these opportunities.
He is Shawn Wilson. He heads up DOTD for Louisiana. Dr. Wilson, we always appreciate the time, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So he gets to walk up and down the halls of the Capitol Hilton like, contracts! Got contracts here. Who needs them? Not really. That level of relationship building at Washington Mardi Gras is phenomenal. All right, we got a break for news. Coming back, Eric Roberts is next.
So did you want to start with something else or Roberts?
I'm due a live read. I should probably listen to the beginning because I don't think I head and tailed it. Not knowing the geography of Baton Rouge, I assume you mean, what would the war on Entergy do to closing of plants and the amount of traffic on these bridges? Wait, say that again? Debbie, retype that one, please, because I think I got lost in the way you're asking that. Byron says being told we'll get a new bridge is like being told from a dancer at a gentleman's establishment that I'm cute and she's doing it to pay her way through nursing school. Yeah, but I used to go in my younger days. They're just gross. Yeah. Right. No, it's gotten so bad. Like, I don't know. Yeah. What the hell? No, the best way to never go back to a strip club is to smell yourself after walking out of a strip club. It's cigarettes and despair. It's just awful. I can honestly say it's been probably 2 decades since I've been to one.
Yeah?
Yeah. Maybe a little less than that. A little less than that. No, they're just awful though. It's not the poor girls that are working. It's the clientele to me. Like, there's something about that. Ever since music moved to that strip club life, like everybody wants to be the guy like making it rain. Like,
but you don't look like the guy that would make it rain.
Right.
Like you're not a professional athlete.
Right. Like you mop the floor at Circle K. you're not impressing anybody with your crinkled up ones.
Who was it? Who was the video? It was Pac-Man Jones a long time ago.
Yeah.
Making it rain and the...
I mean, look, if you're going to make it rain, first of all, they can't be ones. Okay? You got to make it rain a minimum of 10s. Or you're just not the baller you claim to be. And secondly, we got to talk about your pacing. Okay? Because when you're going slow, you're making it drizzle.
Yeah,
At that point,
and it makes it look like it's more money than it actually is, though.
at that point, you might as well whip out a handful of nickels and make it hail. Did I just tap into my stand-up act for a minute? I think I did. No, you want to know what really turned me off to the strip clubs? Was it Usher?
Really, these all sounded like great experiences
No, they were.
before this. Yeah.
Was it Usher? Who had the song? No, it was T-Pain. Make Love in the Club?
No, that's Usher.
That's Usher? Okay.
Mm-hmm. T-Pain had I'm in love with a stripper, though.
I'm in love with a stripper. That's right. So, easy to get those two confused.
Usher had love in this club.
I want to make love in this club. And no, you don't. The club is sticky, and there's hepatitis everywhere.
Yeah, that's
you
not
don't
happening.
want to. You think you want to make love in the club just because you're
You don't.
engorged does not mean you want. No, you want to go home. You want to shower. Yeah, you don't want to. There's a camera on you, first of all, no matter where you are.
Yeah.
Nothing about the club makes sense. Byron says the glitter is hard to get off. Well, I haven't met glitter, so I don't know how hard. Never mind.
I ain't here to judge nobody before
I hope the kids are in school, ladies and gentlemen.
That's 7:35. If the kids aren't in school by now, they're just not going to go to that.
School is hard knocks right here.
Yeah.
You mix the ones and the tens together. Yes, that's how you roll.
Have 110 on the outside, and then like 10 ones in between it. Just toss it. You're only losing like $15.
Right. Yeah. Baller on a budget.
No, so yeah, just get paid for my December.
They called me last week, and they were like, "Is this Mr. Sharp?" Which that makes me feel old. Like, that's weird. Don't call me that.
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "No, that's my dad. I'm Taylor." No, I'm just kidding. And they were like, "Okay, well, we have all your information. We just want to make sure it's correct." And they read me like my bank account number and like the routing number. I was like, "Yeah, it's correct."
January 20th.
Like, I sent you that November 20th.
Right.
And they're like, we just want to make sure it's okay. I was
Well-
like, you could have sent me an email like 2.5 months ago.
So I got mine like the. What? Do I have a live read? Okay. Let me do BR mattress and then yeah.
I'll give you a thumbs up if you want me to go into it.
All right. Cue it up to where it's joined right now by. Okay.
You want bump music here or no?
What?
Bump music here or just go straight?
Bump music. .737 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. That means 23 minutes to go before sports betting is live on mobile. Well, you think the interstate's slow right now? Wait till folks start looking at their phones to place wagers in half an hour. I mean, there's 6 different mobile sports apps that are available as of half an hour from right now. All of them are just flinging cash back at you. I'm looking at the DraftKings app right now. New customers bet $5 to win $280. I mean, it's all over the place, and it's open as of this weekend. Let us know on YouTube. What are you going to be placing your wagers on? If you're partaking of the mobile sports wagering, what are you placing your bets on this weekend? I think my first one has got to be on. Oh, I can't believe I'm going to say this out loud. Kansas City over Cincinnati. Kansas City minus the 7. I think they're going to cover it. I really do. Hey, How'd you sleep last night? Tossing and turning a lot? Lumpy mattress? Musty mattress? You've rotated it more times than you can count? Might I suggest swinging by 4065 Florida Boulevard? Or, actually, you know what? If you're in the southeastern portion of the parish, the Baton Rouge Mattress Outlet at the corner of Jefferson and Hoosier 2 has got you covered. 223-6001 is their phone number. 18181 Jefferson Highway is their actual address. Mitch Kimball and his crew have sales going on all month long right now. You can get a name brand queen size mattress, and it's multiple name brands, so I can't name just one. Normally $899, marked all the way down to $399. King size, marked all the way down to $599. And that's just the tip of the iceberg with the sales. He's got a lot going on throughout the month of January. Getting a good night's sleep starts with having a mattress that's suited to you. We all have our different preferences, our different literal and figurative pressure points. Swing on by, lay down, try them out. Nap if you want to. Mitch don't care. 18181 Jefferson Highway. It's the corner of Jefferson and Hoosier 2, or in Mid-City at Florida Boulevard for the Baton Rouge Mattress Outlet. So, I got the chance to catch up with Eric Roberts yesterday. I always like to, full disclosure when it's a recorded interview. I'm not trying to dupe anybody, but Eric Roberts has a new movie out, and joining us now, welcoming him back to the show from the surprise visit, Eric Roberts. Eric, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for asking, dude.
Glad to have you back on here again. We had you on not too long ago about a different movie, and I got to tell you, it's great to have you back on here again. Let's talk about the surprise visit, the movie itself, and your role within it. What are we expecting?
You're going to love this movie. It gives the definition to the word thriller. And I work on a big estate in the movie. Mm-hmm. I'm a grounds manager. I work on a big estate. I run the show, the estate. But I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I have a son who is dabbling in drugs, having issues like I used to have, but with alcohol. And so we have a strained relationship. So that is that storyline. It's like life, you know. But then the other storyline is about the estate and the matron who owns the estate. And one night she gets robbed, and there's an accidental murder. Hence the definition of thriller. So there we go. We have a show, and the stuff hits the fan, and it's got a surprise ending that will take your breath away. And it's just a really cool movie. And I play a guy who is not necessarily lovable, but not a bad guy. For once in my career, it's a really fun movie to watch. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I actually got to look at the screener, and it is fantastic. And it's funny you say that. I play a not-so-bad guy for once. I brought this up to my wife last night. I was like, hey, Eric Roberts is coming back on the show. She goes, the guy who plays the bad guy? I'm like, not always. Come on.
Good for your wife. Tell your wife, if you guys are not watching Righteous Gemstones, you have to. I play a bad guy in that, but I play John Goodman's best friend. It's the best job I've ever had, dude. Righteous Gemstones.
We started Righteous Gemstones this week. We're on episode 6. You're in this?
Season 2. You're still on season 1. I joined the cast in season 2.
Oh, I cannot wait. And everybody's the bad guy in Righteous Gemstones so far. So except for Adam Devine. Everybody else is the bad guy. All right, let's take it there because you're in everything. I mean, you've got more than 600 credits on your IMDb account. As an actor, is there anything you have not yet done that you want to do?
Yeah, there is. And it almost got done about 3 or 4 years ago. They were going to do the story of Nureyev, and I was going to play him. And then it fell apart. I still want to play that part. I also did a lot of homework on him, and I did a lot of studying of him. And the way he talked was he had this very, very Russian thing in the back of his throat, the way he talked. And I just loved him as a personality, as a dancer, as an artist. I like his politics. Everything about this guy I liked. And he was a mess, but he was a brilliant mess. And I want to play him.
Very cool stuff. Eric Roberts is our guest. So we're 2 years into a global pandemic, but your work hasn't stopped. How has it been working through COVID-19? I mean, you got a stack of credits from the beginning of 2020 till now. It doesn't look like you've slowed down at all.
Well, I got to tell you something. The best set for taking care of its actors was The Surprise Visit. And also Righteous Gemstones is also very careful. But the Surprise Visit, nobody got sick in the cast or the crew, and nobody. And so it was very successful. And on Righteous Gemstones, which is the best job I've ever had, by the way. I love that show. I love my part. I love that group. Oh my God. Anyway, on that show, you have to always be masked unless you're on camera, and so they take really good care of you, because we forget as actors, because we take off our mask to act, that you can catch this thing really easy. So you have to be really on top of it.
Eric Roberts, star of The Surprise Visit, is our guest, which is available now if you wanted to check it out, and it is absolutely the quintessential definition of a thriller. Eric, I got about 2 minutes left. I've got to ask you about this. Last time we had you on, we talked about your affinity with New Orleans, or to New Orleans. We're coming up on Carnival season. You making a trip to town?
You know what? I want to, but we have a pandemic, and even though it is waning, we still have it, and we cannot make it worse. We have to all be grown-ups, and we have to all sacrifice, and we have to all stay masked. So the answer is no.
We'll catch you next year on it then. In the meanwhile, The Surprise Visit is available right now. What's next for you? I'm assuming more Righteous Gemstones. What's next for you?
That's what's next for me, more Righteous Gemstones. I'm on this show, and that, I hope, will become my only job I have for the rest of my life. I'm so in love with this job, I can't see straight, dude.
He is Eric Roberts, star of The Surprise Visit, and, well, as we just learned, a cast member of my new favorite show, oh, by the way. Eric, thank you so much for a couple minutes this morning, and I appreciate it.
Long live John Goodman, and thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Eric Roberts. So crazy. Literally, Christy and I just started The Righteous Gemstones this week. Or maybe it was late last week. We're 6 episodes in right now. Really bizarre show, by the way. John Goodman plays a pastor of a mega church, and it's about him and his family, and you can't make a parallel. It's not like a Joel Osteen or there's no direct parallel to another mega church, but he's got satellite churches around, and it's a bizarre show.
That's a good role for John Goodman.
So he's he plays Eli Gemstone, the patriarch of the family, right? The guy who built up the church. He is his wife has since passed. He's got 2 sons and a daughter. Danny McBride, Kenny Powers himself, plays.
One of my favorite actors.
So yeah, Danny McBride plays Danny McBride wherever Danny McBride is at this point.
Everything he's in.
Yes, whether it be Eastbound and Down, whether it be Vice Principals or this, he's basically revolving around the same person. He's the oldest of the older of the sons. There's a daughter, I don't know her name in real life, and then Adam Devine from Workaholics and a million other little comedy things is just phenomenal in this. But you see people pop up which one did My Best Friend's Wedding? Dylan McDermott? Was it Dylan McDermott or Dermot Mulroney?
It was Dermot Mulroney.
Okay. That was actually a Saturday Night Live sketch at some point. Is it Dylan McDermott or Dermot Mulroney? Anyway, he's a pastor of another church. The whole thing starts off with a drug scandal. It's all over the place, and it's bizarre. Anyway, I greatly appreciate some time from Eric Roberts. Yeah, last time he was on, I did not know that he's originally from Biloxi, Mississippi. And the last time he was on, we started talking about something. It's amazing. We're supposed to talk about one particular topic, and he just goes off on something else every single time. Well, I say it's been both. But last time he went off on New Orleans, how much he loves the city, how much he loves going to New Orleans, how much he went into his whole past with addiction and all this other stuff. It was just crazy. Anyway, this time we were supposed to talk about The Surprise Visit. We got in maybe a minute on The Surprise Visit and then just moved over to The Righteous Gemstones, and that's where it stayed. All right, we're not done by any stretch of the imagination. We got a lot more show to go. We're about 12 minutes away from DraftKings. No, I said DraftKings. Mobile Sport. I'm looking at my DraftKings app. Mobile sports betting going live. And you want to know how down to the minute they are? I just tried to place a bet and was told I'm not allowed to.
Do they have like a countdown clock on the app?
There is no countdown clock.
Now, see, that would be helpful, I think.
It would be. It would be. Hey, where are you out on picks for this weekend? Wagering, I'll say, even if you're not placing any real money, where are you?
Chiefs, Rams.
Chiefs, Rams. Interesting. You're the first person I've heard say take the Rams.
McVay's got to get over that hump at some point. He's too good of a coach.
So, yeah, it is.
He's 0-6 against Shanahan, but, I mean, he's got to win it at some point.
So I'm having trouble separating what just happened in the college football national championship. Like, you say, oh, Shanahan owns real estate inside McVay's head. Yes, he does. But Nick Saban owned real estate inside Kirby Smart's head until a couple weeks ago. I don't know. Always bet the streak, though, right? All right, we got the outside in coming your way in just a little bit. Got to tell you about the folks over at Complete Collision Center. If you're ever in an accident, it's kind of important that you know where you're going before you even get in the accident. That's where the folks at Complete Collision Center come in. That's why they have such a catchy, easy-to-remember phone number like 768-9898. 768-9898. The reason you need to know where to go ahead of time is because once you get into an accident, your insurance company is going to tell you where they want you to go. There's going to be some random tow truck driver that you didn't call who's already on the scene. If you don't know where you're going ahead of time, you can't guarantee that you will have your car repaired and your family back on the road safely. Check them out online at CompleteCollision.com. All right. What'd you get?
Dude, I get their sushi like all the time.
Their sushi's not bad. So that
it's
person,
easy to eat at LSU.
It
I
is.
don't have to heat it up.
Right.
I mean, you know, I don't
because
want
the microwave's way the hell down the hall.
Yeah, like I don't want to. Like I either get that or like some of their sandwiches or something. So, I mean, I don't, you know, dive in because like I'm at LSU.
They have a microwave, so I always go to the one that's all the way on the like where all
the men's bathroom.
Yeah, but there's one back in the video studio as well. Like if you go out our door and to the right and then to the left by those double doors, where the good ice machine is.
Yeah,
there's a microwave there
Really?
too. It's a piece of crap thow.
But yeah, like but that's what I'm saying. Like most of the time, I just go with the cold food. But yeah, I get their sushi all the time.
They're when I was looking the last time I was over there, they actually sell peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Do they?
Yes. I didn't get one, so I don't know. I'm not buying a peanut butter and jelly.
They have good chicken salad sandwiches.
Great chicken salad sandwiches. The muffaladas are really good too.
I haven't had those yet.
It's yeah. And I wish they'd bring that hot bar back. I'm sure they have it regularly, but the last two times I've been there have been on the weekends.
Well, I always go at like 3:30, 4.
So
like,
you've missed the lunch
I'm in a
crowd.
weird time, yeah.
I just don't like. They got apartments right above it. Like there should not be an on and off time. You know. I should suggest that to them.
Darius Days lives up there.
So does Jack Besh.
Yeah. I know Darius Days does. Saw him. Nice. And I was like, is that Darius? This was last season. I was like, is that Darius Days? Because, I mean, yeah, he's tall, but, I mean, you know, he has basic hair. I mean, he, you know.
Yeah.
No, like, tattoos or anything like that.
Right.
I was like, that might be him. And then Trenton Watford gets out, and he has, like, the feathered. I was like, yeah, that's Darius Days.
Yeah.
There's Trenton Watford with him. So.
Ow.
I love this watermark spot. Everything's capitalized with a W.
Nice. It's like a ransom note.
Hour 1 is already posted.
Cool.
Brought props today for the outside.
I was noticing.
Yeah, you don't know what that's for.
I don't.
You're going to hate it.
It could have been borrowed from Stephen A. I don't know.
No, that's mine. You're going to hate it.
Why am I going to hate it?
You just are.
Will it be entertaining?
Oh, yeah.
Then I'm going to love it.
This could technically stay.
labeled the 26th, but he doesn't preview anything.
He needs, yeah. Monday and Tuesday, they were completely out of date.
Well, the 26th is Wednesday. See, they don't play no Saturdays.
Yeah.
That's what they want you to do.
This is Skip Bertman, and as a coach for over 50 years and the father of 4 daughters, we've had a lot of happiness and accumulated lots of stuff. Dependable Storage wants your stuff. Now open in Baton Rouge. Visit dependablestorage.com.
Now, your WBRZ traffic update from Ashley Fouché.
Still monitoring that lane closure I-10 westbound at Acadian. Heavy delays
Mm-mm.
at this point is spanning on both I-10 and I-12 headed west.
Don't know what she's saying.
They do still have 2 lanes blocked at Acadian. That looks like
It's not blocked the other way, right?
there's no more police activity.
Like eastbound's fine?
No, it's not blocked eastbound.
But really the damage is done. If you're in the city and you're trying to get on the interstate to cross the bridge, if you get on at Perkins, things are fine after that. But anything before Perkins, you will be stuck in very heavy delays.
See an accident? Reported at WBRZ Traffic on Twitter. This report is brought to you by Shawbills, where you can get up to $100 instant savings with the purchase of 4 eligible Bridgestone or Firestone tires. Visit ShawbillsTire.com to learn more.
755 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Thanks again to Eric Roberts for hopping on board. Thanks again to Dr. Shawn Wilson for giving us some updates on where we're at with the new Mississippi River Bridge. Oh, hey, quick addendum to our traffic report. You heard how she said that we were there was no more visible police presence. It looks like lanes have opened up. Now, traffic is still going to be bad for quite some time, but it does appear as if lanes have opened up on 10 westbound. So look for that to get a little bit better. In the meanwhile, you do still want to take an alternate route until things do completely dissipate. All right, coming up next hour, we're going to talk with Renee Amar about Louisiana Women Lead. This is a group of a group that got together last year and decided, hey, if you're a woman and you want to run for office, but you've always had hesitancies, why and how can we work through them? They launched last year. This year should stack up to be a lot more. We should hear from them a lot more this year with midterms and everything else that's coming up. So we're going to talk with Renee at 8:15. 8:40, we're talking with Judy Tenuta. This interview opportunity crossed my desk, and I couldn't pass it up. If you're a fan of stand-up comedy, you probably remember comedian Judy Tenuta. She's the Aphrodite of the accordion is what she goes by. But what we're talking about today gets a lot heavier. As the world has been dealing with the pandemic, Judy Tenuta she's been battling stage 4 ovarian cancer as well, and she might be kicking cancer in the tuchus, but the isolation because of quarantining and the stay-at-home orders and everything, it gets to be overwhelming, and it gets to be about a bit much. So we're going to talk about dealing with solitude along with health issues during the pandemic with Judy Tenuta at 8:40. Right now, though, it's time for the outside in. Let's get it. We're going to start in Livingston Parish. Threats written on a bathroom wall and loud maintenance work were mistaken for gunshots drew a law enforcement presence to a Livingston Parish High School early Thursday. It was Walker High. A message on the wall read, "If you're reading this, don't come to school on Thursday. You won't regret it." I think they probably meant you will regret it if you do. Anyway, It also included a drawing of a very rudimentary drawing of a gun, and that's being generous, with
Looked
a
like
caption.
a cheese slice.
It did look like a cheese slice, and the caption said, "Bang!" The Superintendent Joe Murphy said law enforcement officials received a call that same morning indicating that shots had been fired at the school. Turns out, no, it was somebody working in the HVAC system, so no shots actually fired. Several parents did check their kids out of school. We actually received reports here at Talk 107.3 that the school was so overrun with parents, it took some of them upwards of an hour to get their kids out. The tire fire is over in Avoyelles Parish. On January 16th, a tire fire broke out at Cottonport Monofill Complex on FP Bordelon Road. Burned for 10 days, filling the sky with thick, black smoke. As a safety precaution, 1,500 inmates from the Raymond Laborde Correctional Facility had to be evacuated since it was downwind of the fire. The fire was extinguished Wednesday night. Prisoners returned to their facility. Access to water made fighting the fire difficult, but like eating an elephant, they took care of it one bite at a time. Over in St. Landry Parish, an Opelousas man was arrested Wednesday on 20 counts of cockfighting. 51-year-old Alexander Urson of Opelousas was transported to the St. Landry Parish Jail on charges of 20 counts of cockfighting. He has no bond at this time. On Wednesday, January 26th, the St. Landry Parish Animal Control received an anonymous tip about an active and in-progress event in the 100 block of Leroy Brooks Road. Now, for his part, Urson did say the Roosters were outfitted with boxing gloves. And that's the outside in, presented by Baton Rouge Physical Therapy. Here comes CBS News, and in 10 seconds, mobile sports betting's here. Where at, Rich?
Phil, I miss you, dude. Dude,
Bro.
No, I am not BSing you. I literally miss seeing you. I had been in here the last couple of days. I'm going to tell you that. You know, I came in because I heard you on the air today.
Ye's on the air.
Dude, check this out.
What's
I
up?
just solved it. Done.
What'd you solve?
That Walker High School student?
Yeah!
I solved it.
Oh? Is that Murphy Paul's fault, too?
Nope.
Okay.
Solved it.
How'd you solve it?
You ever wonder whatever happened to that child from 10 years ago, 15 years ago? You ever wonder the color of the weather winner? Where are they now? Coach, I think that's it. I'm going. Obviously, this child grew up and lost. He regressed in his autistic ability. He's gone backwards. So I said to Livingston Park, look, you want to know who it is? Find out who the student at Walker High who won the color of the weather contest through Channel 9 10 years ago, and that's who did.
Are you actively saying we need to support the arts in
Hey, Coach.
support?
Hey, I played an old commercial by Mike Graham.
Oh, nice.
Hey, I got a new alert. I'm gonna save it. I already did it here, but I don't want to ruin it. I'm gonna do it on your show Monday.
Okay.
You got the Amber alert, Coach. I can't. It's the greatest ever. I created a new alert.
Okay.
I like that.
I love it.
Coach, gonna be huge.
I love it.
Huge.
Good stuff. All right.
Taylor, are you producing the show this afternoon?
No.
Dakota?
Yeah.
No, but I'll tell you. You are now.
All right. I'm supposed to be placing a wager, not looking for ways to interrupt your This Day in History.
You're good, man.
Which I don't know how much you remember, but I interrupt the hell out of it. Jake likes to talk soccer, and no matter how many times they have to smack him across the face.
I can tell you right now, I have the over-under on soccer facts today is 1. And if you want to go on DraftKings and take the under, I would do that.
Smart bet. Why does this log me out every single time? Oh, it's letting me log in with my thumbprint. Something is different. Oh, I got to accept the terms of use. No. Let me accept it. Yeah, thank you. I'm not even going to read the terms of use because I never do. Nobody!
If you break the rules, we have the right to come to your house and kill you at any moment. I'm not reading it. I'm just accepting it.
If you follow the rules, we have the right to abduct your children. I'm still, I'm there. Today at 1 p.m., Colgate's at Boston University. Colgate's giving 1.5. Should I take Colgate?
They're getting 1.5?
They're giving 1.5.
What's the record?
Boston's a home dog now.
Oh, I'd go Boston.
1.5 point home dog?
Oh, yeah.
I think I could find one better. Stony Brook is getting 2 at New Hampshire.
Never bet against Stony Brook.
I know. Haven't we learned?
The Seawolves?
That's right.
I think that's what they are.
I am going to blow through so much
but...
money.
You have a wolf in the sea.
A sea wolf? I mean, a manatee is a sea cow.
Is it a wolf? Did it come from the sea and it lives here now, or was it a wolf and now
it's like a wolf, but it lives in the sea. Like a manatee is a sea cow. You got a sea cow, you got a sea lion. Why couldn't you have a sea wolf? You got a sea horse. Why can't you have a sea wolf?
You do have a sea horse.
Yeah.
Although, I mean...
Sea lions are a thing. Sea cow's just a rude nickname. It's like you're calling them fat.
Yeah.
Whatever, you sea cow. 805 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Hour 3 and 1 is with Brian Haldane coming your way right now. Got a busy hour this hour, and I'm going to be remarkably distracted, just letting you know right now. Mobile sports betting's here. You know how that week in between Selection Sunday and the beginning of the NCAA tournament, everybody dives in to learn everything about Quinnipiac and Northern Kentucky? That has ramped up to right now. Like, I'm scrolling through the active lines, like, who's playing basketball today? So I'm on the DraftKings app. And I'm looking through, and I'm like, I know nothing about Niagara versus Siena. Fairfield at Ryder. Fairfield's given 1.5. Ryder's a home dog.
Ryder's typically, actually, they've made the tournament a few times.
Yeah. I said Purdue Fort Wayne is getting 2.5.
Against who?
Northern Kentucky. I know. The world is just at our fingertips now. This is so amazing. I can't wait. Hey, we'll dive into that in just a minute. Do have to tell you about the forecast real quick. We're looking at a high of 54 degrees today. Overnight low tonight. Going to get cold. Going to get all the way down to 29. Topping out at 54 again tomorrow. Topping out at 67 on Sunday. 69 on Monday. Now, the front half of next week, actually all of next week, late Monday all the way through late Thursday. Looking like we got rain. At least a 50% chance of rain in the forecast. Late Monday all the way through midday Thursday. Highs are going to be in the upper 60s, if not lower 70s throughout next week. And that rain is going to reset the cold cycle again. Your overnight low next Thursday into Friday morning, 27. Friday night into Saturday morning, 24. 25 on Saturday night into Sunday.
Staying inside this weekend.
You know, there are days where you have to walk through the front door of this place at 4:30 in the morning, and there are days where you don't. I'll take the 24 on a day when I don't. When I'm nice and snugly under my comforter with my mattress from the Baton Rouge Mattress Outlet. What? I turned that into a plug. All right. We're talking Louisiana women lead in our next segment. We're talking with comedian Judy Tenuta in our 8:40 segment. Right now, though, is a time where we wind back the clocks. Taylor has this day. Oh, you're going to want to watch on YouTube because he's got props. Taylor's got this day in history.
One prop. You're going to understand this in a minute.
I'm just guessing we're starting off in 1960, or you're gearing up for that later?
We're starting in 1813.
Oh, that's not what the hat's for.
1813, Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice is published by Thomas Egerton in the United Kingdom.
For those listening on the radio, not watching on YouTube, Taylor is sporting a cowboy hat, and you have never looked more Stephen A. Smith than you do right now.
Man, you're giving Stephen A. all the compliments today.
Taylor Sharp working this day in history.
It's not a bad Stephen A., honestly.
Thank you.
1851, Northwestern University, the one in Chicago.
Yeah, not Natchitoches. Wait, they did what?
They were chartered on this day in 1851. All right, I'm going to move right along because I'm pretty sure...
I heard something that sounds like a fart, but yeah. Chartered.
1887, work begins on the Eiffel Tower in Paris.
Nice.
They started building that bad boy in 1887. 1904, the first college sports letters are given to seniors who played on the University of Chicago's football team. They were actually awarded blankets with the letter C on them.
A Letterman's blanket does not sound nearly as
no, it doesn't.
hip as a Letterman's jacket. Like, I don't need a Letterman's whoopee.
Yeah, you got a point there. 1914. Beverly Hills, California is incorporated, and there a lot of people spend a lot of money that they shouldn't have.
Okay.
1915. The United States Coast Guard is created by merging the U.S. Life Saving Service and the U.S. Revenue Cutter Service.
Really?
They formed them.
I didn't know that was a merger that created the Coast Guard.
Boom, Coast Guard. God, man.
Okay.
Dropping knowledge. 1956. Elvis Presley's first appearance on national TV on the Dorsey Brothers stage show.
I like it.
1958, Dodgers catcher Roy Campanella is paralyzed after an automobile wreck.
Oh, no. Wait, Roy Campanella. Yeah,
Roy Campanella,
okay.
yes, sir. 1958, probably the most important one on this list. Well, second. The Lego company patents their design of the Lego bricks.
Oh, cool.
No, look,
See, that's hype because, like, my son loves Legos. Like, loves Legos more than just about anything on this planet. And he's one of those master builders. Like, he doesn't need the kit. He could just build it.
I don't know who created the big fat Legos.
Oh, yeah.
But those are awful compared to the other ones.
No, the big fat Legos are stupid.
Yeah, those are bad.
Although I will tell you this, as your nuptials are pending, past that, when you start having kids, be warned. Stepping on Legos is every bit as painful as it's described. More so.
So, on this day...
In 1960.
Well, we'll actually start with 61. On this day in 1961, the Minnesota Vikings became an NFL franchise.
Great. That way Lizzo had something to sing about.
Preceding that, Mr. Haldane.
Here we go.
Preceding that, in 1960, in Dallas, Texas, home of the five-time, count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-time Super Bowl champion.
Any of those in your lifetime?
No. The Dallas Cowboys were officially created and given an NFL franchise until Jerry Jones ran them into the ground.
Jerry Jones? Run the Cowboys in the ground?
Sticking with the NFL trend, in 1969, everyone's favorite non-controversial running back from USC, O.J. Simpson,
Hey,
first
Twitter
pick
world.
by the Buffalo Bills.
Yes, sir. I had that on my list there, by the way.
1986, the Space Shuttle Challenger explodes 73 seconds after liftoff from Cape Canaveral with all 7 crew members killed.
Yeah. We watched that in class. I was in 4th grade.
Yeah.
We watched that in class. I remember my teacher was standing right behind me, and I was not grasping what was happening.
One of the ladies on the flight was a teacher.
Krista McAuliffe.
Yeah.
Yes. Which there's a Krista McAuliffe Center off of Goodwood now. But as we're watching it and you see it just disappear into the fireball and the smoke, it's like, I didn't know. Was that supposed to happen? Yeah, I'm in 4th grade. I don't know. I'm in 4th grade. I don't know. But my teacher, grabs my shoulder and just starts crying, openly sobbing. And I'm like, okay, something's bad.
In 1990, the San Francisco 49ers beat the Denver Broncos in Super Bowl 24, 55-10, nail-biter there. Joe Montana, the second greatest quarterback of all time, was named Super Bowl MVP.
Behind Joe Burrow?
No.
Oh.
Why is that important? Because it took place in the Louisiana Superdome.
Yes, it did.
You ready for some birthdays?
Yes, I'm ready for a few birthdays.
Here's a blast from the past. Nick Carter from the Backstreet Boys, 42 years old today.
Okay. Wow.
Rapper J. Cole, 37.
J. Cole's a rapper. I saw him on the list. I'm like, I have no idea who that is.
Rick Ross.
Does he own Cole's?
No, he does not. It's
Okay.
spelled differently. I thought that too. He gets that a lot. Rick Ross, 46 years old today.
Love me some Rick Ross. I
Yeah.
love that Rick Ross is older than me.
Elijah Wood, 41.
He is not older than me.
He's not. Here's a guy that's not as well. Andre Iguodala, 38 years old.
Yeah, Warriors forward, born in 1984.
Greg Popovich, legendary NBA coach, 73 years old today.
That would be older than everyone.
And New Orleans Saints owe this guy a simple thank you because if it wasn't for Nick Saban's poor coaching ability and evaluation of QB talent, he would have taken Drew Brees, but he did not. He took Dante Culpepper, and Dante Culpepper is 45 years old today. So shout out to Culpepper and Saban. Thank you, man.
Yes. I saw him on the list. I didn't know if you were going to get to him, but I'm glad you made the connection back to how that led to Drew Brees and 16 years of gloriousness in New Orleans. Also, born on this day in 1967, I always like to wrap it up with a former LSU Tiger when I can, Tommy Hodson.
Oh, Tommy Hodson. My
Yes,
dad's
sir.
all-time favorite LSU quarterback.
How is that? Look, I love Tommy Hodson, right? It's Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is the only answer.
Yeah, I
the
know, but I'm
only
talking
answer
like
ever,
the ones
forever.
that he grew up with around that
It
time, so.
goes Joe Burrow, Jordan Jefferson, and then the field.
Wait, where's Brandon Aaron?
Oh, that's right. That's right.
You said quarterbacks.
Yeah,
oh, I'm
no,
sorry.
no.
You're right. Moving on. We're not going to dive
Meanwhile,
into that.
Jordan Jefferson's somewhere right now like, what the hell did I do?
National Days. It's a Daisy Day.
Mm-hmm.
It's an important one. It's
don't know
International Lego Day. Gee, I wonder why. Here's a good one. Blueberry Pancake Day.
All right.
National Data Privacy Day.
I like it.
National Fun at Work Day, which I always appreciate.
Well, that's every day, man.
That's true. National Kazoo Day.
Which goes along with National Fun at Work Day.
It is National Pediatrician Day.
Oh, okay.
And it's Rubber Ducky Day.
Rubber Ducky Day.
Rubber Ducky Day.
I wonder why.
Because this was a good day for it.
All right.
That is your This Day in History.
8:15 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Quick break. When we come back, we're talking with Renee Amar from Louisiana Women Lead next.
She's supposed to call up.
What? She's supposed to be calling us. That was fun. Good job. You know, someone's going to call my Stephen A. impression racist. I'm just waiting for it.
It's what he sounds like.
It is what he.
I don't.
It's one of the better ones. I'm terrible at impressions. I do an awful Christopher Walken. Like, it's just, I'm terrible at impressions. But Stephen A.
Love Stephen A. I love Stephen A. when he trolls the Cowboys. I do. I think it's funny.
It's awesome. It's so good.
I mean, you know.
Only because Cowboys fans get so up in arms about it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't bother me. I think it's funny. Plus, like, I always considered the Steelers and Cowboys a rival just because they used to play in the Super Bowl so many times against each other.
Yeah.
So that's why I understand why he doesn't like the Cowboys. It makes sense. He's a Steelers fan.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
I assumed him to be, I don't know why I assumed him to be NFC East in some form or fashion.
Eagles, too.
Eagles, yeah.
But, yeah,
he
does,
worked in D.C. for a while.
Yeah, but he likes Pittsburgh as well. I mean, they're
Okay.
both in the Pennsylvania. So, but, yeah.
Yeah.
He follows the Steelers, too, but Eagles. So, I mean, it makes sense why he doesn't.
I just texted. All right. Cincinnati, Kansas City, over under 54.5. What do you got? You gotta go over that, huh?
I would think over.
I think Kansas City's going to outpace, to be sure, right?
Yeah, but I mean, Cincinnati's going to put points. They have a good offense. So.
Right. I got Kansas City covering the number here, but
you got to go. I would go over.
All right. Kansas City -7. Got it. Place your bet. Done. I did it. If this season so far has been any indicator, Taylor, I got nothing to worry about. I'm cashing tickets, baby. That's what we're doing.
You're in a little heater?
Look, I know we're not the sports station. I get that, but it's not sports, baby. It's business. It's analytics. It's dollars and cents. It's revenue. I'm paying down my debt snowball, courtesy of the Kansas City Chiefs. How about that? Did I make it relevant? Did it work?
It worked a little.
Okay. We're waiting on Renee Amar from Louisiana Women Lead. Supposed to be talking about where we're going in 2022. They launched last year. So backstory here. It's a phenomenal idea. There are fewer women than you would think serving in public office right now. I mean, you look around Louisiana's delegation in Washington, D.C., we have exactly one. Congresswoman Letlow. And please forgive how harsh this sounds, but we wouldn't have the one if it weren't for a death. Congresswoman Letlow ran to pick up the torch left by her late husband, Luke Letlow, who replaced Doc Abraham, or was set to replace Doc Abraham. We had a senator not long ago, Mary Landrieu, but when you look at the scale, the number of women who partake in the public policy process is lacking. Why? That's what Louisiana Women Lead set out to discover, to explore. You know, every time we talk about the first woman to do this, the first woman to do that, it's no longer a headline once it's a second, third, or fourth, but is it tapering off at that point? And I think Julia Letlow is a fantastic example of managing all of it. I mean, obviously a very tight-knit, and we had Congresswoman Letlow on a couple weeks ago, and I can't help but talk about family when we have her on, and is that sexist that I go to wanting to appeal to her motherly nature to hear from her perspective from that point? Maybe. But that's also what holds a lot of women back, especially with women who have a bit of a right lean to their politics, holds a lot of them back from running for office. Well, Louisiana Women Lead wanted to remedy that. And we were slated to have Renee Amar on here. I don't know if that's going to happen at this point. So I've sent out an email saying, can we get you on, or where you at right now? Hopefully she will respond. Hey, I don't know if you saw this story at Wbrz. I'm actually glad we have a little bit of time to cover this, though. The Baton Rouge Police Department's continuing their community-based outreach effort with the Baton Rouge community. There will be a community walk. There was a community walk yesterday at 2 at the corner of Eddie Robinson Sr. and South Boulevard. I'm curious, have you ever partaken in one of these? This is the kind of thing where if you're on the outside looking in, it's easy to poo-poo all over it. But when you partake in it, the glimmer of hope that can come around from seeing people get active. You know, yesterday we had, and I know I'm going to be all over the place by trying to weave these together, but bear with me for a moment. Yesterday we had Jennifer Richardson on from Keeping Tigertown Beautiful. She got so sick of litter that about a year ago, she started a group on Facebook and posted up, hey, I'm going to be out on Jefferson at Essen Lane Saturday morning at 7. Come join me. Come help clean up. She goes out there. She starts pulling weeds. She's exactly 5 foot tall. So were the weeds. She was literally lost in the weeds. She's out there for a couple minutes. She turns around. Boom, there's like a half dozen people. Another half hour goes by. Boom, another dozen people. Her telling her story was reassuring and heartwarming to hear that, you know what? When you get off your tuchus and do something, other people will follow because we're not alone in this community. There are people that want Baton Rouge to be better, to be cleaner, to be safer. And I'm just curious if you've ever taken part in something like Mayor Pro Tem Lamont Cole does his bike rides, right? He's been on to promote a couple of those. And now BRPD holding this walk the other day, or yesterday, not the other day, yesterday. Have you ever taken part in something like this? I've done the litter pickups before, not through the one that Jennifer did, but I've done the litter pickups before, and you wouldn't think picking up trash is fun, because when you think about picking up trash on the side of the road, what do you think about? Work release. You think about inmates, right? You think about the orange jumpsuits and the little stabby things that they pick up the litter with, so they don't have to bend over. But honestly, picking up the litter is the least of your concerns on that time. Meeting new people, meeting your neighbors goes front and center. When Metro Councilman Matt Watson was running for mayor. Oh, I still got the prop. If you're watching us on YouTube. When Metro Councilman Matt Watson was running for mayor, he was pushing very hard to acquire a tire shredder, an entire facility dedicated to shredding up tires and getting rid of them. Because everywhere you turn, there's a stack of tires in Baton Rouge. And he was talking about some of the efforts that he took part in, getting out and cleaning up along the interstate by Cedar Crest, Sherwood at I-12 and that underpass. And the level of community and the community building that comes with these events, it far exceeds whether or not you're picking up some empty Coors Light cans or some empty Minute Maid bottles, whatever. So I haven't been to one for the community walks against crime. Need to do that. I need to get on that. But I would assume they are much to the same level of civic pride, like-minded people sharing something that they both believe in. It's a good little get-together. Give me one more second. Checking the email again. And no, I'm just going to go ahead and call it. All right. Sports betting is live in Louisiana right now. We're going to talk about it a little more in just a second. I do have to remind you about the folks over at Rise LA. RiseLA.biz is the website, RiseLA.biz. They've got an event coming up that you are going to want to take part in. They've got an event coming up where if you are a business owner or a business manager and you want to get back to hiring and staffed up at the same level you were at before the pandemic, but you might be a little scared to step on the gas, you're going to want to attend Rise LA. Fred Keller is the founder and chair of Cascade Engineering. Fred Keller figured out how to take that revolving door of low to middle income employees, pull them out of welfare while increasing profits. He's sharing his story. You can learn more at RiseLA.biz. Louisiana is in a workforce crisis. One would argue the entire nation is. I know unemployment numbers look like they're down all the time, but the number of people who have just given up on the workforce altogether don't count in those unemployment numbers. Workforce crisis continues. The pandemic is one part of it. The Great Resignation is one part of it. But once you add all the parts together, we are at crisis level. So visit RiseLA.biz, RiseLA.biz. We all rise together, Louisiana. You can also call them at 355-0702. All right, sports betting is now here. Mobile sports betting in Louisiana is now still here. And, Taylor, I have placed my first bet.
What'd you bet on?
Well, I was hoping my first bet was going to be on LSU men's basketball. But I can't see a college basketball line more than a day out. They give you same-day lines for college basketball. So I was itching to get down, and I'm taking Kansas City -7.
It's a good pick.
So I'm torn because I don't want to go against Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Tyler Shelvin, and Thaddeus Moss. But I'm going with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Darrell Williams, and Tyrann Mathieu.
Well, I hate the Chiefs, so I hope the Bengals win, but the Chiefs are going to win.
I'm hard-pressed to believe otherwise. And the thing of it is, this is going to be the hard part with the mobile sports betting. Are you betting with your head, or or are you betting with your heart?
Yep. Because, like, everyone down here wants to see the Bengals win the game, of course. But
If Joe Burrow wins a Super Bowl, we all get to relive the 2019 season.
yeah.
It is. He's only in his second year in Cincinnati, and he's already showing ridiculous results. That being said, and I don't want to get too sports heavy, but that being said, Cincinnati's playing over their heads. Joe Burrow was sacked 9 times last week. They have far exceeded expectations already. Reality's going to have to set in at some point. I'm leaning Rams on the NFC side.
Rams are going to get it. What's the spread on that?
Rams are -3.5.
I would take the Rams and the points. The Rams look good.
The Rams are -3.5, so you'd be given the points, but it's the Rams went up by the 49ers. They went up on the 49ers by 17 in Week 18 and lost. Like,
I just don't see that happening again.
all right.
I always go with the team that has the best player on the field, and the Rams have Cooper Kupp, so I'm going to go with the Rams.
They have Cooper Kupp, who inexplicably gets open, like by inexplicable margins.
5th-round draft pick for Taylor's fantasy team, carried him to the championship. Let's go, Cooper.
Very nicely done. Very nicely done. And, oh, by the way, if you cover Cooper Kupp, Odell Beckham Jr. is going to be open. And, oh, by the way, if you cover Cooper Kupp and Odell Beckham Jr., Tyler Higbee's underrated.
Tyler Higbee's becoming a really good tight end. He's almost as good as Dallas's tight end.
All right. I can't bet on that one yet. I got to wait and see, like, will the head games, the Shanahan and McVay head games play out. Hey, coming up this weekend, actually coming up tomorrow, in its continuing effort to meet the community's needs with COVID-19 vaccination and testing, Oxnard Baton Rouge is once again partnering with Elm Grove Baptist Church, the Power Coalition for Equity and Justice for a PCR testing and pediatric vaccine drive, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. tomorrow. This is going to be at the Elm Grove Baptist Church. So, if your kiddos are not yet vaccinated and you want to get that knocked out, if you've been feeling the symptoms of the seasonal crud, those are the symptoms of COVID as well. If you want to get tested, Elm Grove Baptist Church tomorrow. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to check CBS News. We'll check your local news, traffic, weather. When we come back, we got a lot more show to go. Mixed in with that will be comedian Judy Tenuta. And we're talking about the pandemic, but from a completely different angle that you wouldn't normally expect, especially not from a stand-up comedian. That's coming your way next, and we got a lot more ground to cover here as well. Might squeeze in a little bit more Tiger King before we're done. It's Mornings with Brian Haldane. We continue right after CBS News right here on Talk 107.3 FM, the new flavor of talk in Baton Rouge. 3 seconds short. I'll take it. I hate no shows. All right, let's really have some. You ready to have some fun?
Let's have some fun.
Cooper Kupp will have 100 receiving yards.
Over. I don't care what it is on Cooper Kupp. I always take the over.
Wait. Cooper Kupp goes over 100 and the Rams score more than 33. I don't know that I could do that.
Ooh, and they score over 33?
Yeah.
I don't know. He's going over 100. There's no one on the 49ers that can cover Cooper Kupp one-on-one.
Right, but I don't think they score 33.
I think they could.
All right.
I don't know.
Deebo Samuel has at least one rushing and receiving touchdown.
No. Like, okay, so can you bet like for or against that, or when you bet it,
Well,
does that mean
all
you
I'm
think
showing
it's
is
gonna...
the yeses. It's yeses plus 400 on the Rams. Or Cooper Kupp, yes, plus 700 on Deebo. Elijah Mitchell and Cam Akers to combine for 150-plus rushing yards.
No.
Really?
No.
Why not?
Because, okay, like the Rams, when everyone says the Rams have a good rush offense, they do. But that was with Michelle when he was getting 100 yards a game. They're splitting carries. I mean, everybody's like, Cam Akers looked really good last week. He had 52 yards rushing.
Mm-hmm.
He had 52 yards rushing, and both of them have such good front sevens on either
and
side.
Then you look at the 49ers rushing yards, and you'll see like 170 yards on the day.
Deebo Samuel carries the ball a lot.
Yeah, he'll rip off a 75-yard touchdown run.
Yeah, I just don't.
And then everything else will be 2.5 yards a carry.
Yeah, like I don't see either of those guys.
I'm with you. Odell Beckham Jr. and George Kittle to combine for over 150 receiving yards. No.
No.
To me, that's the most tempting of all of them.
Well, here's the thing about Odell. You go back and look at his numbers. I mean, they typically throw him an early 5-yard touchdown. That's probably so he doesn't cause problems in the locker room. But his yardage hasn't been. I mean, I think he's had over 80 twice.
Yeah, he's been averaging about.
That's
like
what I'm saying. He's usually
4 for 70.
He's usually like
yeah.
And then like last game, everybody's like, "Oh, he did great." He was like 6 for 55 yards.
Yeah.
He had a touchdown, but I mean his yardage is never.
Yeah.
Because he catches the drag routes when Cooper Kupp's double covered deep downfield, so his yardage isn't great.
All right, Jimmy Garoppolo over under 232.5 yards.
232.
Yeah.
Under.
I'm leaning towards that.
I think he'll have a good game though. I don't hate Jimmy Garoppolo like everyone else does.
He's serviceable. All right. Matthew Stafford over under 280 or 279.5.
If I think they're gonna win, I got to take the over. So.
I don't like the odds on this one. They're both minus 115.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying.
Over and
that's
under are minus 115.
That's a good number.
Matthew Stafford over under 1.5 touchdowns.
Over. They throw it a lot in the red zone.
Deebo Samuel over under 39.5 rushing. Boy, that's a hit or miss right there, man. Shit.
I think I'd have to go over. But that's a tough.
Where are
line.
all these on the?
It's a tough line though.
It is.
I wish they had that last year. I never bet on sports, but I always look at the funny prop bets on the Super Bowl. Do you know I hit every single prop bet on the Super Bowl last year?
Really?
Everyone that I picked. You don't have to do all of them. Like I hit Kelsey over yardage, Fournette over yardage, Clyde under yardage, Hill under yardage, and the Bucks to win. I hit all, like it was literally 5 of them. I hit all of them. And I was like, but I didn't bet anything on them.
Nice payout.
Oh, I'm inside the 49ers game. That's why I can't find any of this shit. All right. Bengals Chiefs. Let's get some of these props. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd each have 50-plus receiving yards. That's Tyler Boyd makes that tough.
Yeah.
Where you at, Gordy? Hey, you good for lunch Monday?
That would
1 o'clock.
That would be hard.
Mahomes and Burrow combined for over 600.
That's a lot of yards.
It's 300 apiece.
Yeah, I know, but that's a lot of yards. Yeah, I mean, if I had to lean to it, I'd probably say yeah, but
Travis Kelce or Jamar Chase to have 125 or more.
Travis Kelce will 100%
I'm
have
putting
125.
$5 on that one.
Do you have a shot at? So it's not both; it's either or.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you got a shot for either one of them. So yeah, that's a.
It's plus 200 on that bet too.
Yeah, that's a good.
God, I'm leaning towards $5 on Mahomes and Burrow combining for 600.
If I had to go with one, that's what I would go with. But it.
Holy crap! The money in my account is dwindling fast.
Just a lot of yards.
Tyreek Hill to have a 50-plus yard touchdown reception. See, that's such random crap though. Like you can't know that going in.
Do you think Tyreek Hill's overrated? I do.
Uh,
Tyreek Hill can't make contested catches.
No, he can't. But he's so ridiculously fast.
Hey, I'm gonna put you through to Brian and no, this is yeah. Is she ready to go? He's gonna be live. We're gonna be live in about 20 seconds. All right, cool. Thank you.
Stay connected to Wbrz weather on air on Wbrz.com, our apps, social media, and Wbrz Plus.
837 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. So we're a full 2 years into the pandemic. I mean, closing in on the 2-year anniversary of everyone in Louisiana shutting down for sure. It has been a long road. It has been a road that has not nixed any other ailments or problems along the way. And it has created a lot of loneliness because of that. Got the opportunity right now to talk with comedian Judy Tenuta. We welcome her to the show. Judy, good morning. How are you?
How's everything down there in Baton Rouge?
Oh, we're doing well in Baton Rouge. Glad to have you on this morning.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I've been to lovely Louisiana, and I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Luckily, I'm not in. Many people on the East Coast there are dealing with snowstorms. They're calling them cyclones, bombers. So, yeah, I'm glad we're not in that.
No, we get under 40 and we freak out here in Louisiana. So it's all relative.
I know. Me too. Well, I'm here in L.A., so it drops below 70, and I'm like, ah.
You when I saw this opportunity to talk with you, I there was no way I was passing this up because first of all, I'm a longtime fan. I've been a fan of your comedy for years. Watching the old evenings at the Improv used to come on A&E, or Caroline's used to come on A&E. I've been a fan for a long time, and then to learn about your battle with ovarian cancer, and you're out with kicking cancer's ass. There was no way I was going to pass this up. So first of all, let's talk about kicking cancer's ass. Tell a little bit of your story to the audience.
Oh yeah, well, I was feeling. First of all, we were already in the pandemic, right? So I want to say start feeling like some pains around. I want to say, January, maybe a little before that, and then, I just go, this is not normal. So I said, and we all, I think, were not thrilled about going to doctors, and a lot of doctors were not, because of the pandemic, they weren't as available as normally they would be. So but I did go, and I just thought I had a kidney stone, because it had the same symptoms. You feel a pain on that side, and then, I don't know, it just, and then they said, well, this is it. This is, you've got the big C, honey, and we're going to treat it. So anyway, I've been going through that, and you have to stay positive, because you got to kick his ass.
Exactly. But this is it's a more difficult time in history to have that mindset because of where we're at the pandemic. And you're at a point where, when you're diagnosed with cancer, you're going to be a little more immunocompromised because of treatments, and willingly going to a place where all the sick people are can't be the most positive of outlooks. So walk us through your mental state throughout this and what you've done to battle back.
Well, at first I was in, just like anything that's traumatic. You're in. When I was in the doctor's office and he told me, I said, "Oh no, that can't be me. I feel fine." And he goes, "No, we're going to start treating you, and of course you can choose not to be treated, but then I don't think I'd be here today if I didn't do that." So, you go through. I went through chemo, operation, and another chemo, and now I'm in remission, which is great, and I just feel positive. All of it has to do with, yes, you have to be positive. One thing that we universally have in common for the past 2 years, much of the time we've had to be in our own home. So just like everyone else, I'm in my own home, and I don't feel alone really, because I know everybody else. Most people are that way as well.
Most would assume that a stand-up comedian would be more of an extrovert, so being in the pandemic would get you out of your comfort zone. Are you normally an outgoing people person in real life?
Well, when I'm around people, yes, I am. I'm friendly and fun, and I mean, unless they're a pig to me, then none of us like that. But yes, I'm friendly and I'm fun, but I'm not. I don't know if I'm, and yeah, I guess I am pretty extroverted, So, yeah, I like to. I enjoy making people laugh, entertaining people. So, yeah, when I'm doing that, yeah, I'm an extrovert. But after I do a show, for example, I'm kind of exhausted. So I just want to, go home, kick back, watch Netflix like anyone else, or whatever has it, or Amazon Prime or whatever, and just enjoy yourself. And a lot of people, put on weight. I going through this, I didn't. I lost weight, but I'm happy to say that I am intermission.
Yes.
And I'm trying. I think it's very important whether you're going through any kind of physical challenge or mental challenge or whatever it is. You have to stay positive. So I would wake up every morning and say, "I'm kicking cancer's ass," and then I made it into a video song. So
Yeah, the video is available on YouTube, as is Desperation Boulevard right now. Tell us about Desperation Boulevard.
Yeah, Desperation Boulevard is a film that I made about I play a former child star who will stop at nothing to make a comeback. I was like a child star during the 50s when I played. I was this little girl star in this sitcom called Daddy's Little Angel, and it's a great. It's really a fun. It's a fun film, and it pays tribute to former child stars. There's in it there is a card game with some of the most iconic child stars. Like Aaron Moran, Dana Plato, Burt Ward. The guy who was Eddie Haskell. Yeah. I can't think of his name, but yeah, and it's just a lot of fun. So yeah, and by the way, in Desperation Boulevard, I am a former child star. I'm I play a woman in my 40s who's trying to make a comeback, and I have this crazy man, very aggressive manager, played brilliantly by Michael Lerner, and he talks me into doing all kinds of crazy things, like, we got to get the press, you got to be come out homeless, come out as a lesbian, and I rob a convenience store. That's a really great one. It's really funny, and it's like I said, it pays tribute to these former child stars, and it's got heart too. It's funny and it's got heart. So
very nice.
Yeah,
and
really
it's I got to check out the trailer on YouTube. It does look like a lot of fun. Now, but at your heart, you are still a comedian. I think we have 2 minutes left. Can we use that 2 minutes talking about how your show, how your act has adapted over the years on stage?
Oh, well, first of all, I popped out wearing a squeeze box because it was my mom's IUD. So I always had, I started, when I first started out, I didn't have the accordion, and then I decided I need to strap one on. So because my mom, what happened was I moved to New York when I was like 20, and my mom said, "You're taking the accordion with you." So, yeah, I didn't really have a choice, and I kind of came up with my act while I was there because I thought I would start out as an actress, but oh my God, going to those auditions, there's like 500 women at once, or no, at least 50 in a room, and it's like, oh, come on, this is crazy. So I decided to come up with my own act, and then yeah, I became the petite flower love goddess Aphrodite of the accordion.
The Aphrodite the Recorded. The Love Goddess, I think, is the name that has stuck for years and years and years. That is the one that is synonymous with Judy Tenuta. Look, I know you got to get on to the next interview. I can't tell you how much I appreciate the time, and so glad to hear that you are in remission right now and just staying positive throughout. Thank you so much, Judy Tenuta. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely. 848 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. All right. By the way, it is called the video is called "Judy is Kicking Cancer's Ass." It's a fun song. The Desperation Boulevard part of this we probably should have gotten into sooner because that's a much more fun series and it's a great premise. Reliving or trying to recreate the lightning in a bottle of being a child star, and yes, she does walk down some wacky paths with that. All right, not done yet. We got a lot more to go before we're out of here. Getting you set for the weekend, though. Actually, sorry, looking to grab hold of somebody posted up on YouTube. Bradley let me know on YouTube. And by the way, if you're not watching the show on YouTube, jump in, subscribe. It's Mornings with Brian Haldane on YouTube. One of the YouTube users, Bradley, says there's a Watson Gumbo cook-off coming tomorrow. I'm dying for more details. I mean, we're going to have Gumbo weather all through next week. We were looking ahead to next week. I was telling you the weather forecast a little while ago. Looking ahead to next week, it's going to be rain all next week long with overnight lows. Overnight lows looking all the way ahead towards the back half of next week in the mid-20s. Not freezing, not 30, not upper 20s, the mid-20s. Got your money now coming your way in just a second. Thanks again to Judy Tenuta for hopping on board. Sorry, I'm reading emails at the same time, trying to regroup from the missed interview earlier. Let's check your money now, check traffic. We'll come back. We'll close out your week next on Talk 107.3. Well, that was bad. That was bad. Crap. Closure. Pull back the curtain for YouTube. There is no varnish over here. That was bad. Holy shit. I don't know if we should even post it. Gotta stay positive, and, you know. No, I gotta post it. It's part of the deal. It's got to be posted. Yeah. Like, as much as I enjoyed Eric Roberts, nothing like the world balancing you out, huh? And the shit of it is, welcome back, Taylor. That's the last interview I'm doing this week. That's what's in my head all weekend long. The conversation, we had a good segment with Haggai. Well, it wasn't top 5, but it was a good segment with Haggai. I screwed that up. I should have started with the anti-vax. We had a great interview with Dr. Shawn Wilson. That was probably the highlight of the show outside of Taylor's This Day in History. We had Eric Roberts, is always effing phenomenal. I don't know why he chose my show as the platform to lobby to be re-upped for the Righteous Gemstones. I mean, maybe the producers of the Righteous Gemstones are listeners. I don't know.
They're big fans.
They're big fans.
Big Haldane fans.
We are. Well, here's the thing, though. John Goodman lives in Louisiana.
Yeah, good point.
He's might not be far-fetched.
Eric, you said he's from Biloxi?
From Biloxi. He's got a house in New Orleans. Yeah. I love when I booked the interview with Eric Roberts. The handler guy says, don't talk about his sister. I wasn't gonna. Tanya?
Did he elaborate?
No. I don't think they talk. Yeah.
Got on there and be like, so Eric, how's your sister, man?
Well, Julia Roberts is his sister.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was.
Oh,
was
yeah.
so funny when he was like, don't talk about his sister. I was like, who the hell's his sister?
This isn't like Richie April. How's your sister?
That's what I was saying. That's what I was thought. I was like, wait a minute. What's the deal? Like, that's a random thing to say.
His sister is Julia Roberts.
Makes
I
sense.
don't think they talk.
I mean, one of them's a A-list celebrity, and the other one's Eric Roberts.
That warning sounds completely different when you don't know who his sister is.
I didn't put two and two together. You're like, don't talk about his sister. I was like, who is she?
So I believe Tanya Roberts is the other sister, and she's been in a lot of Skinamax movies.
Maybe that's the one he didn't want to mention.
All right.
You should have started the interview with Eric. I want to make sure that I don't step on any toes. So which sister can I not mention, Julia or Tanya?
Do you not talk to either of them? I mean, she's still cashing those Ocean's 12 paychecks. You mean the one from Mystic Pizza? Oh, she played a whore. Yeah. The email from DraftKings. Double your money. New Orleans to score at least 1 point versus Denver tonight. That's right. Double your money if it happens with an exclusive no-brainer odds boost.
Is Brandon Ingram playing?
Yes.
Yeah, it'll happen.
Yeah.
They'll score for you.
Yeah. Why do I have to log in every 5 seconds? Well, at least I can log in with my thumb now. I'm putting another 25 in the account. Oh, I can pull this off of my PayPal? Oh, wait a minute.
But yeah, I would say that New Orleans scored at least 1 point in a basketball game is
Yeah.
about as sure of as a bet as you get. I mean, it is the Pelicans, but they'll score a point.
If I'm pulling money from PayPal to this, it's like it doesn't even exist. It's like it's not even... My PayPal info isn't matching. $8:56, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. One segment to go here on Mornings with Brian Haldane. Thanks again to Haggai Davis for a cup of tech gumbo. Thanks again to Dr. Shawn Wilson from the Department of Transportation. Thanks to Eric Roberts. And my apologies for what happened last segment. I don't think we're on the same page there. It happens sometimes. Hey, sports betting's open right now in Louisiana. It's here, and it's going to spread like wildfire, and I can tell you exactly why. Money is being flung at us left and right. And the number of people who have never placed a wager on a sports game before, the number of people who have never filled out a football card in the back of a local grocery store, like, that's all about to change. Because you're getting money flung at you from all over the place. $100 here, $250 there. Caesars is going to match up to $3,000. I mean, if you're going to go big, you might as well roll with the Roman Empire, right? We're all Caesars. Saw the email from DraftKings. I got the email announcing the sports betting, mobile betting was here 20 minutes after placing my first mobile wager. It's like, yes, I'm already at the party. Thank you. DraftKings, double your money right now. Get a load of this bet, Taylor. New Orleans scores at least 1 point versus Denver tonight.
Likely.
They set the over at 1.
Okay, well, I would probably take the over.
New Orleans only has to score 1 more point than me. I'm taking this over.
You know who's not going to score one more point than me?
Don't do it.
Zion Williamson.
Don't do it. Oh, jeez.
What did I tell Brian? Look, man, you said I was going to die on this hill, and I am.
You are going to die.
I am not.
Win $280 in free bets with draft. It's flinging all over the place. Here's another one. Match it up to $1,000, or place your first $1,000 wager, and it's guaranteed. Like if I were to put all my money, if I were to take $1,000, and this one's Barstool, put it on Cincinnati on the money line. If it loses, I still have $1,000. If I win, I've got $2,000. Now that goes away after this weekend for sure.
Yeah,
that's all. That's full on Nino Brown style right there. The first taste is free, and then once you're in, you're in. You're full on like Chris Rock, like Pookie. Should I not be referencing New Jack City in 2022? It's a bit dated of a reference.
You know, I started watching that not too long ago.
Why'd you stop?
It was late at night. Okay, so I have this thing, like, I could be wide awake. If I start a movie past 10:30, I'm falling asleep within the first 20 minutes, and I did.
You are such an old man.
Yeah.
Welcome to the club.
No, I am, for
welcome
sure.
to the club.
They say you're only as old as you feel.
About 90.
Tell you what.
If you're only as old as you feel, then get off my lawn. Back in my day, we had to answer to a bookie.
Go to the back room at the Italian restaurant.
Easy now. You stay off of Perkins. Hey, that's going to do it for us today. We're about to head off to the Fox News Rundown. This show left the rails at 6:06. We're about to hand off to the Fox News Rundown. We'll be back at it next week. Thank y'all so much for playing along. Thank you for sticking through it. And we'll see you next week. Third time in my career I've apologized for a guest. How about that? I don't even remember their names. They were so bad. I had a guy who claimed to be a stand-up comedian. He was going to be performing at the station.
Okay.
And not like the radio station, the bar, the station bar. Girl, yeah. And so I took the phone call. This was like my first month or so on the air when Talk 107.3 first brought me over.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is great. This is going to be an awesome connection. Maybe I could spin this into me emceeing open mic night or something to get my name out there a little bit because I was just starting as a host, right? Guy calls up. He's like, and I can't remember the name of the comedian, but the guy's like, I'm so-and-so's manager. And then the moment I put him on the air, it was the exact same effing voice. And I'm like, you pretended to be your own manager. Like, I realized that in my head in real time as we were live. And the guy said something about, oh, golly. He said something about, I don't know, feeding horse meat to school children or something, like as cafeteria lunch. I don't remember what it was specifically.
Okay.
But it was such a bad joke. And if I recall, he thought it was funny because it rhymed. God, I wish I could remember this word for word. I wish I had the audio. It was so bad.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to stop right here, and I'm just going to say thank you and goodbye. And before I hung up, I was like, I apologize to the audience. I will try to never let that happen again. That was awful. I said, like, do I continue to plow down this rough? Like, Judy Tenuta has been a headlining comedian for 40-plus years. Like, she's been famous since the 80s. I can keep my head down and plow through and hope to find some nugget of gold amongst a pan full of shit. But sometimes you walk away with a pan full of shit. Yeah, I bailed on an interview mid-interview, and I made sure he heard me apologize to the audience before hanging up on him. It's like, I apologize, that was awful, and I will try not to let it happen again, and then I hung up. I can only imagine what was going on his end of the phone. Like, if on the other end of the phone, he's like Kyle Mooney on Saturday Night Live.
So,
like, am I really that bad?
Was he actually, like, doing it at the station, or, like, was that fake, too?
I reached out to the station afterwards, and they're like, no, I've never heard of him.
Okay, so the whole thing was a lie.
Right. Well, he might have been, like, open micing. They had an open mic night as well, so he might have, like, signed in for an open mic night, claiming to be he was a comedian. People are coming to see me, I'm selling tickets. No.
Yeah.
No, it was so bad. Yeah, we made it maybe 2 minutes into the full interview before I bailed.
You bailed after 2 minutes?
Yeah. So I'm like looking up at the clock with like 12 more minutes to go before news at the bottom of the hour. and I
You're
had
like, I can't.
I didn't know enough to prep backup topics yet, so I had nothing. And I only booked the interview because at the time I was co-hosting with Matt Kennedy. Matt was off that day.
Okay, so
Made me look like a tool.
that's it. Yeah, that's like you can't.
Like, remember in Wayne's World when Wayne bails on the show and they come back from commercial and Garth is like, everything's cool. Not. I felt like that after about a minute and a half of just stumbling and stuttering and crapping my pants. I got my feet back under me. I made I started talking about something completely different. Went back to the wheelhouse of politics, but it was awful. All right, is there anybody still in YouTube, or has everybody gotten to work by now? I've moved on to other things. I'm placing wagers on Tottenham Hotspur. All right, well, Bradley never got back with me about the Watson Gumbo cook-off. All right, so, Troy says he's misbehaving in Gemstones. All right, I'm liking it. Hey, Renee. Renee, was that Judy Tenuta interview as bad as I thought it was? I don't know. I shouldn't stick around for an answer to this. I should bail. It's time to go. I've actually got to go over to. I've got to go over to Go Slim Nutrition and get my weigh-in going on. Y'all, next week is just about already lined up. Next week, I left my binder upstairs. I got a binder. I left my binder upstairs with the rundowns for next week. I do. I have an Ogeron binder. Oh, crap. I'm not remembering who's on. You know what? We'll just pick it up. Y'all have a great weekend. Thank you for playing along with that. Thank you for putting up with that. We'll see you next week.